Part 15. Swallowed Star, My Understanding is Beyond Belief. Author, Bo Yoon Song. Chapter 141. Soon, Luo Feng and Luo Xia returned to the solar system. They put the detectors they bought into the solar system according to Babada's instructions, thus establishing an invisible detection network. According to Babada, with these detectors, even if a D-class spacecraft enters the solar system, she will be able to get the news immediately. After Luo Xia and Luo Feng released the detector, they returned to Earth. Instead of going home, they went straight to Kiri's Hima. Bro Nolanshan and the others were imprisoned here. Looking at Bro Nolanshan, who looked like a bereaved dog, Luo Xia took 2 steps forward and said, "If you don't want to die, just tell me the virtual universe number of the current patriarch of your family." Bro Nolanshan's force was still sealed. He shook his head feebly and said, "Although I am a direct descendant of Nolanshan, due to my low strength, I do not have the virtual universe number of the current leader of Nolanshan." "Really not?" Luo Xia looked at Bro Nolanshan. "Then how did you contact the family? Tell me the contact information. If you don't tell." Bro Nolanshan glanced at Luo Xia, did not refuse, and directly told his family's contact information. He also knew that this was the current situation. If you resist any longer, you will only die faster. After Rorschach obtained the contact information of the Nolanshan family, he immediately said to Babada, "Babada, edit an email for me and send it to the Nolanshan family. Tell them, now the Earth is our territory. If he lets his space fleet enter the solar system again, then the Black Dragon Mountain Empire will face him. Fleet. Clear." Babada responded, edited an email in an instant, and sent it to the Nolanshan family. Virtual Universe, Black Dragon Mountain Island. In the lobby of a luxurious residence, the current patriarch of the Nolanshan family, Yuk Nolanshan, and the old patriarch Devin Nolanshan were sitting on the sofa, looking at an email with sullen expressions on their faces. "Damn it," Yuk Nolanshan said with anger on his face, "how could that living planet become someone else's territory? Didn't bro say that it was an ownerless planet?" Old Patriarch Duan's chi nourishing skills were quite good. He didn't have a scowl on his face like Yuk Nolanshan. He just said calmly, "This man named Luo Feng probably left a month ago. Purchased through the process." Yuk Nolanshan gritted his teeth. Where did he get so much money to buy it? A living planet like this is of the highest standard, and the price is as high as 3 trillion black dragon coins. How could he, a native, pay for it in a short time? So much money. Devin said, "Perhaps the treasure left by the invincible strong man on that planet was obtained by him." UK looked at the old patriarch Devin, frowned and said, "Old patriarch, what should we do now? According to the laws of the Black Dragon Mountain Empire, if we let Pula and the others continue to move forward, we will be regarded as star thieves. Being regarded as a star thief is a very serious matter. At that time, the Black Dragon Mountain Empire will launch a crusade against the entire Nolanshan family in the name of the Nolanshan family are star thieves. The strongest person in their family is only at the 9th level of the universe level, and cannot fight against the fleet of the Black Dragon Mountain Empire. What else can we do?" Devin glanced at UK, "We can only let Pula and the others retreat." UK was unwilling to give up, but on that planet, it is very likely that there is a treasure of the invincible strong man from back then. Are we just going to give up? Hearing this, Dewen looked angry and said, "UK, as the current clan leader, is this how you think about things? If Pula and the others are allowed to move forward, then our Nolanshan family will be designated as a star thief by the Black Dragon Mountain Empire." He looked coldly at UK, the current patriarch of the Nolanshan family. "The Imperial Army destroyed my Nolanshan family without any effort at all. Do you want to let our entire family be buried with a possible powerful man's treasure?" UK's expression became hesitant. We. Yes, we can escape." As soon as Duan saw UK's face, he knew what he was thinking. But are you really sure that the invincible man's treasure is still there? Even if it is true, that Luo Feng can buy the earth, I am afraid that he has obtained the inheritance of the invincible powerhouse. Think about it. For a treasure that may exist and may be taken away, it is worth devoting the clan to the family power that Zio finally built up is in vain. UK sighed dejectedly, then, we retreat. Bite. The Nilan Mountain clan ancestor sent a call. At this time, Yuknilanchan's auxiliary intelligent optical brain suddenly rang. He and the old patriarch Duan were both stunned, and then quickly stood up and answered the phone respectfully. A virtual figure emerged in the hall. Clan ancestor. UK and Duan saluted the figure with great respect. That figure was none other than the founder of Nilanchan, Nilanchan himself. Nilanchan glanced at UK and Duan and said, I heard that a little guy in the family discovered an ownerless planet that was ruled by an invincible strong man. Devin lowered his head and replied, Ancestor, that living planet was purchased by a man named Luo Feng not long ago, and it is now Luo Feng's territory. Luo Feng, Nilanchan frowned, which family is he a child of? UK said, according to the information we have collected so far, Luo Feng seems to be a native of that planet. Can a native buy a high-standard life planet? Nilanchan smiled coldly, it seems that he got the treasure or inheritance left by that invincible strong man. Duan nodded and said, yes, ancestor, because that life planet has become Luo Feng's territory, if our family's warships continue to go there, they will be identified as star pirates by the imperial law. Nilanchan touched his chin and said, a life planet with an unknown number of treasures, it's not worth sacrificing all of us, Nilanchan. However, if a group of people who are not from our Nilanchan family break into that life planet, it has nothing to do with our Nilanchan family. Duan's brain is quick, and he immediately knows the thoughts of the ancestor Nilanchan. His eyes lit up, the ancestor means. Nilanchan said calmly, go down and give orders. Make sure to do this beautifully. If you can find the inheritance and treasure of the invincible strong on that life planet and confirm the value, tell me immediately. Yes, ancestor. Duan and UK bowed their heads at the same time. At the same time, Nilanchan's virtual image disappeared in the hall. As soon as UK saw the ancestor disconnect the call, he immediately contacted his disciples, I'll tell Pula and the others. Duan nodded. Soon after, the virtual images of UK and Duan appeared in front of Pula and others. Teacher, old patriarch. Pula and others saluted respectfully. UK looked at his disciples and ordered, Pula, you can return, but I have an order, leave the elite masters in your fleet to form an elite team, let them take the spacecraft to continue to the life planet, the purpose is to find the inheritance and treasure left by the invincible strong. Pula was shocked and said, Teacher, didn't you say that the life planet already has a lord? UK's face was cold and said, what's wrong with having a lord? I just asked you to leave a team to find the treasure. Even if the whereabouts are exposed in the future, just let them claim to be star pirates. Do the Earthlings have evidence to prove that they are from Nilan Mountain? Pula was stunned, and then nodded slowly, I understand. I understand, just go down, UK said. Pula and the others saluted and exited the virtual universe. In the cosmic starry sky at the edge of the solar system, two huge warships were flying in the dark and cold void. Pula arranged an elite team of 29th level star level warriors and 67th level and 8th level star level warriors. At this time, he was giving instructions to Twolawu, the strongest member of the team. Twolawu, this is an order from the clan leader himself, you must complete it well. This is a detailed plan. Remember, no matter when, you must not let the Earthlings catch you, evidence that you are members of our Nilanchan family. Twolawu nodded, and a trace of sadness flashed in the depths of his eyes. He knew that from this moment on, the 80 of them had been completely abandoned by the family, unless they could find the treasure of the invincible strongman and not be discovered by the Earthlings. Otherwise, they would never think of returning to the family in this life. Twolawu nodded and said, I understand. Pula patted Twolawu on the shoulder, you go. Not long after, a C-class space adventure spaceship turned on the shielding, stealth effect and continued to fly carefully to the Earth. On Earth, Luoxia asked Babata, Babata, how is it? Has the fleet of the Nyolantian family returned? A stream of data flashed in Babata's eyes. After a while, she nodded, it has started to return. Luo Feng was relieved when he heard the news and smiled, I can finally sleep well tonight. Since he learned that the fleet of the Nyolantian family was flying to Earth, Luo Feng has not been calm for more than a month. Even during the time in the killing field, he was often irritable and couldn't calm down at all. Now that he learned that the fleet of the Nyolantian family had returned, he finally breathed a sigh of relief. Luoxia nodded and smiled, let's go home now. Although we were able to see our parents in the virtual universe when we were on Bayan Star, we are still tens of thousands of light years apart. Well, I don't know what Xiaoping and Xiaohe are doing now. Let's go back. Speaking of his family, Luo Feng couldn't wait any longer. He stepped on the ground and flew into the sky, heading towards Jiangnan Bay City. Luoxia fell behind slightly, and secretly said to Babata, Babata, don't let your guard down. I don't think the Nyolantian family will give up so easily. They will definitely send people to Earth. You must always monitor the outer space of Earth for me. Once you find anything, tell me immediately. Understood, Babata nodded and agreed, then slipped into the virtual universe to play games. For intelligent life like her, multitasking is a very simple operation. When playing games, it doesn't delay her from monitoring space at all. Moreover, after she captured Bro Nolanshan's spaceship, she also captured the intelligence on the spaceship. Now, Atuka has been transferred to Helongshan X-81, and she drives the Helongshan spaceship to cruise in the Earth's gravitational orbit every day. 2 months passed quickly. On this day, Rorschach was practicing in the gravity room. Suddenly, he heard Babata's shout. Rorschach, it's as you expected. There is a C-class space adventure spacecraft approaching the Earth. It is expected to arrive outside the Earth's atmosphere in 10 minutes. Do you want to intercept it? Rorschach narrowed his eyes and said to Babata, wait a minute. He quickly put on his armor, flew out of the gravity room, and found his elder brother. Brother, the intruder is coming. What? Luo Feng was startled, and while putting on his armor, he asked, why is there another intruder? Didn't I say it before? People from the Nyolantian family will never go back so willingly. They will definitely do something small. Rorschach said, and asked Babata to take out Bro Nolanshan's spaceship. At this time, Luo Feng also called over the 9th level stellar level slaves he bought and asked them to enter the spaceship. Dad. Third uncle. Luo Ping and Luo Hai were shouting and waving their little hands below, completely unaware of what their father and third uncle were going to do. Luo Feng took off his mask and shouted to the 2 children, stay at home and don't run around. Your third uncle and I will go out for a while and we will be back soon. Brother, let's go. Rorschach shouted. Only then did Luo Feng rush into the hatch. The cabin door of the spacecraft closed, and then it flew into the atmosphere. Xiao Xia, are we going to intercept them in outer space? Luo Feng asked Luoxia as he watched the spacecraft quickly break through the clouds. Rorschach nodded, of course, if you put them on the Earth, they will be broken into pieces and it will be troublesome. It is better to eat them all in one pot while they are all on the same spaceship. Hearing this, Luo Feng nodded. Luo Feng, Luoxia, we have now entered the Earth's gravitational orbit. Babata's voice sounded in the control room. The other party's spacecraft is expected to arrive at the Earth in 5 minutes. At this time, the Black Dragon Mountain spacecraft controlled by Meng Si and others also came to Luoxia and others. Rorschach wore a black and purple armor and said to Babata, "Babata, open the hatch." As he spoke, he had already arrived at the cabin door. Laugh. As the hatch opens, there is an endless dark and cold universe outside. Rorschach jumped up and flew out of the spaceship. After reaching the stellar level, Rorschach has been able to survive in the universe for a while, plus he still has a battle armor. Rorschach flew directly above the spacecraft, and he looked like he was standing on the top of the spaceship. But in fact, he has no gravity at all at this time. Instead, it sticks to the top of the spacecraft by flying. In 1 minute, the enemy spacecraft will arrive in outer space. Babata's voice sounded in Rorschach's sea of consciousness. "Babata, tell me the coordinates of the other party." Rorschach looked at the universe ahead. In his sight, there was only darkness and nothing. The opponent's spaceship also turned on the invisibility effect. Rorschach couldn't spot their spaceship with his naked eyes. He still needs to rely on Babata's detection. Soon, Babata told Rorschach the specific flight route of the other party. On top of the spaceship, Rorschach turned slightly and changed direction. Immediately afterwards, he rose from the top of the spacecraft, and a strange aura began to rise from him. Rorschach held the sword in his hand. In the control of the spacecraft, Luo Feng clearly sensed the change in Rorschach's aura. That powerful and terrifying aura made him feel suffocated. The other 9th-level stellar-level slaves standing next to him all looked horrified. "Zioxia, he..." Luo Feng swallowed. It seems that after coming out of the killing field, his strength has improved a lot. At the same time, the elite team of the Nyolantian family, inside the Universe Law spacecraft they drive. An 8th-level star-level person suddenly said to Captain Tuolawu, "Captain, a life breath has been detected on the navigation route ahead." Tuolawu's expression changed. He looked at the spacecraft's detector and saw 2 red dots appearing on the detector's screen. The detector had discovered the signs of the other 2 spacecrafts. He looked cold and frowned. "It seems we have been discovered. Turn on the exterior simulation at 70%. I want to see what the person who appears in front of our course wants to do." "Yes, Captain." Following Tuolawu's instructions, his subordinates opened the exterior simulation of the spaceship. The next second, Tuolawu saw a man standing in the sky against the background of the blue planet. He was wearing a black and purple battle armor, looking as ferocious as an evil ghost, holding a long sword in his hand, and exuding a strange and terrifying aura. Tuolawu narrowed his eyes slightly and glanced at the information on the auxiliary light brain, a 5th-level star-level spiritual master. He continued to look at the black and purple figure in front of him, with a sneer at the corner of his mouth. "Is this guy planning to use brute force to stop us? Our spaceship can withstand even the attacks of cosmic-level powerhouses." A while. He waved his hand and ordered his subordinates, "Fire! Kill him! This space adventure ship is equipped with an attack system." Under Tuolawu's order, several gun barrels stretched out from both sides of the spacecraft, aiming at Rorschach. Buzz buzz. In the dark universe, the gun barrel of the spacecraft began to condense with a blazing and terrifying light. "Rorschach! They are going to attack you." Babata's anxious voice sounded. In the control room of the spacecraft, Luo Feng also looked anxious. "Xiao Xia, hurry up." "Huh." Against the background of the blue planet, Rorschach, wrapped in black and purple armor, exhaled softly. The next moment, he raised the long sword in his hand. Cut. The long sword fell with the power to cut through space. Boom. In an instant, in the astonished eyes of Tuolawu and others, a sword light that seemed to be the beginning of the world shone brightly in their sight. The world seemed to be divided into 2 halves. No. Not like. But it was really divided into 2 halves. Crack. This is. Endless fear climbed into the hearts of Twolawu and others. In their horrified faces, the space was cut open, and the spacecraft that could resist the attack of the universe level strong was cut into two halves in an instant. Some crew members were unable to dodge and were even swallowed up half of their bodies by the cut space, dying. Boom boom boom. The cut spaceship began to explode. At the same time, in the spaceship control room here, Luo Feng and the 9th level star level slaves stared blankly at the slowly healing space crack, their minds in a mess. A 9th level star level slave swallowed hard and shouted in disbelief. The space is cut. Swallowed star, my understanding is beyond belief. Author, Bo Yun Song. Chapter 142. Looking at the healed space crack, not only Luo Feng and the slaves were surprised. Babata was also extremely surprised. To break the space, one must at least reach the domain master level. What did Luo Xia do to cut the space? Luo Xia, how did you do it? Babata asked in surprise. Luo Xia flew towards the exploding spaceship and said, I just did it like that. He didn't have much time to explain. The main reason was that the secret method of creating the world was given by the original will of the original universe, and it couldn't be explained. After the spaceship exploded, some people escaped. But among the 80 star level, only 6 or 7 escaped in 2s and 3s. The rest died under Luo Xia's sword. Of course, those who escaped from the spaceship were also seriously injured. At this time, they were flying in the dark space, and their breath was constantly weakening. After Luo Xia rushed up, Luo Feng also followed with other star level 9th level slaves. After a round of siege, the elite team that the Nyolan Shan family had left behind was also destroyed by Luo Xia and his team. So far, even if the Nyolan Shan family wanted to play tricks again, it would take more than 2 years. After all, it would take at least 2 years to sail from the natural wormhole. By that time, Luo Feng's golden horned beast and Luo Xia's strength would be promoted to the cosmic level. At that time, even if Nyolan Shan came in person, Luo Xia was confident that he could kill the other party. After Luo Xia and his team destroyed the elite team of the Nyolan Shan family, Pula and his team, who had already returned, received the news of the tragic death of Twolawu and others. This news was sent by the intelligence of the spacecraft at the last moment of the explosion. When Pula and his team heard the news, they looked quite surprised and confused. How could it be? Twolawu and his team are at least 7-level masters of the star class, and there are 80 of them. How could they be killed so easily? Look. The last image sent by the spaceship. This is. Pula and his team looked at the image of the space being cut in horror, and they were trembling all over. The attack can cut the space. Pula's eyes were full of fear and relief. This strength is at least above the domain master level. Could it be that the invincible strong man back then is still alive? He thought, his face pale. If the invincible strong man is still alive, the Nyolan family is in danger. No. I have to tell the teacher about this. Pula quickly entered the virtual universe and contacted UK. Pula, what's wrong? UK's virtual image appeared in front of Pula. He looked at Pu Lan, who was trembling with fear, and his face was a little dissatisfied. Teacher, Twolawu and his team were discovered by the Earth. Pula said in a trembling voice. UK was stunned, and then became angry. Waste. How did they get discovered so quickly? PRA lowered his head and said, the other party seemed to have noticed our subsequent arrangements and laid various detectors in their star system in advance. When Twolawu and his team were about to arrive at the life Earth on the spacecraft, the other party entered the space to intercept them. UK's face changed again and again when he heard this, and finally narrowed his eyes and said, it doesn't matter if they are discovered. With Twolawu's strength, they should be able to escape, right? As long as they don't expose their relationship with our Nyolan family, what if they are discovered? he still recognized the strength of Tuolawu and others. It is still easy to escape from a C-class space adventure spacecraft even if it is discovered. But UK never thought that Tuolawu and others were careless. They thought that the defense of the Earth was very weak, and even if they broke in, they would encounter some big obstacles. So at the beginning, they didn't think about escaping. But they wanted to kill Luoxia and others who were blocking the way ahead. Because Tuolawu thought so. If they could kill Luoxia and the others, then after entering the Earth, they could rest assured and look for the inheritance and treasures of the invincible strong. But who could have thought of it? Teacher. Pula's voice was very hesitant and cautious. Tuolawu and the others are dead. Eugenio Lanchan's eyes widened. What did you say? Tuolawu and the others were killed after they were discovered, Pula said. Eugenio Lanchan frowned and asked, how could the people on that life planet kill Tuolawu and the others? After Luo Feng bought the Earth, some information about the Earth was circulated. For example, the cosmic coordinates of the Earth, the population structure on the Earth, meteorological resources, etc. These things are the information that needs to be submitted when applying to buy a planet. If someone is willing to spend money, he can naturally get this information. Eugenio Lanchan and the others spent a lot of money from the Imperial Office of He Longshan to get some information about the Earth. From those data, Eugenio Lanchan and his team knew that the strongest people on Earth were only Luo Feng and Luoxia, who had reached the star level. How could they kill Tuolawu and his team with just the strength of these two brothers? You know, Tuolawu and his team are an elite team of 80 people. Everyone's strength is above the 7th level of the star level. How could the Earth stop and kill such a powerful elite team? Teacher, look. This is the last video sent back by Tuolawu and his spaceship on the eve of its destruction. Pura played the video. After watching it, Eugenio Lanchan was shocked and angry. The attack cut through the space. His expression was full of doubts. How is this possible? To break through the space, you must at least be a domain master. How could there be such a strong man on Earth? After watching the video, Eugenio Lanchan finally knew how Tuolawu and his team were killed. Facing a space attack, even if he was a cosmic level person, he would definitely die if he didn't dodge it. This can't be blamed on Tuolawu and his team. After all, who would have thought that the opponent's attack could cut through the space? Teacher, we guess that the invincible strong man who once ruled the planet of life may not have fallen as rumored, he may still be alive. Pura said with a slightly trembling voice. If such an invincible strongman who can enter the dark universe in the flesh and turn a large area of stars into a void area is still alive, their Nyulanshan family will be in danger. Such a strong man is not something that Nyulanshan can fight against. UK frowned and thought of this possibility. After all, the news of the death of the invincible strongman was just spread, and no one has actually seen the body of that strongman. Don't spread this matter first. UK glanced at Pula, warned him, and then said, I will go to the old patriarch and the ancestor to discuss it. You can return home with peace of mind. Pura bowed his head and replied, yes, teacher. He withdrew from the virtual universe. On the other side, UK found the old patriarch Devon and told him what Pra had told him. Duan was also confused and called the ancestor of the clan, Nyolanshan. At this time, Nyolanshan was thinking about how to make a fortune. He has been trapped in the 9th level of the universe for a long time and has not been able to break through. If he had enough financial resources, he could invite an immortal strongman to guide him. By then, he would be able to break through to the domain master level 100%. And this is why Nyolanshan cares so much about the treasure on the Earth. As long as he obtains the treasure of the invincible strongman, he will have the money to ask the immortal strongman to guide him. In his opinion, as long as the strength can be improved. Even if the family is defined as a star pirate, what does it matter? As long as he can become a domain master, Nyolanshan will only become more prosperous. At this time, Nyo Lanchen suddenly received a call invitation from the younger generation of the family. He frowned slightly, and then thought, did they find the treasure of the invincible strongman? What's wrong? Devon, UK. He answered the phone and looked at Devon and UK calmly. Duan and UK bowed respectfully first, and then UK began to speak. When Nyo Lanchen saw the image of the space being cut open in the video, his eyes narrowed slightly. So, do you think that the invincible strong man may still be alive? Nyo Lanchen's expression made it impossible to tell what he was thinking. Duan and UK did not dare to guess the thoughts of the ancestor at will, and lowered their heads and replied, yes. After all, only strong men above the domain master level can attack and cut open space. Okay, I know. Nyo Lanchen waved his hand and ordered, let Pula and the others return, no need to do anything else. Yes, ancestor. Duan and UK took the order. Nyo Lanchen hung up the phone, and then he slapped the armrest with an angry look on his face, and the whole seat was turned into dust by his power. Is he really still alive? So, our Nyo Lanchen has become a stepping stone for that invincible strong man to educate his disciples. In Nyo Lanchen's heart, he actually believed that the invincible strong man on Earth was not dead. After all, the star level can cut through space. This is impossible. On Earth, Luo Xia and Luo Feng protected the Earth again, and everyone was very happy. Of course, most humans on Earth did not know about the battle with space invaders. Only governments and leaders of various countries noticed this through satellites. Now, they are also extremely awed by Luo Xia, who can cut through space. Days passed. Luo Xia and Luo Feng stayed at home with their families for more than a month, and then they left the Earth and flew to Kai Along Star. This time when Luo Xia left the Earth, he brought Melissa with him. Luo Feng also brought 2 star-level 9th-level slaves. One is called Aogu, a spiritualist, and he is very thin. This seems to be the characteristic of their race. No matter how much they eat, their bodies are dry and have little meat. But their bones are extremely hard. According to Aogu himself, their bone hardness is 2 or 3 times that of ordinary life. As for the other one, Tai Nan he is a star-level 9th-level warrior. Compared with Aogu, Tai Nan he is tall and strong. Standing there, he is like an iron wall, giving people a full sense of security. Luo Xia and Luo Feng brought them this time to take the assessment of the Universe Apprentice Mercenaries. The assessment of the Universe Apprentice Mercenaries is carried out in the World Master World. In the assessment, in addition to the various dangers contained in the World Master World itself, other members participating in the assessment will also pose a threat to you. Robbery and murder can happen at any time, and others will take away the assessment items you obtained. In the control room of the spaceship, Babata was reading to Rorschach and others the precautions for the assessment of space trainee mercenaries. That's why I asked you to take Melissa, Aogu, and Tai Nan he with you. With the 3 of them here, even if you face robbery, you will have a chance to resist and escape. Luo Xia and Luo Feng nodded. 10 days later, they arrived at the Horned Dragon. Go and have a meal with Gao Sheng first, Luo Feng said. They haven't been back for a long time since they left the Horned Dragon Star last time. Now Gao Sheng is still studying with his teacher in the energy business on Qiu Long Star. Luo Feng and Luo Xia went to have a meal with Gao Sheng first, and each of them boasted for a while before heading towards the Space Mercenary Alliance station. This station is so huge that it can be called a city. When Rorschach and the others stepped inside, they could see various human beings chatting loudly and communicating. Most of these people come to register as adventurers. Rorschach and the others squeezed into the crowd and took more than an hour to complete the registration. After registering as adventurers, they received a card issued by the Alliance. Is this an adventure card? Rorschach looked at the adventure card in his hand. Luo Feng smiled at the side and said, don't lose it. It will be very troublesome to replace it. Let's go, let's apply for the Space Trainee Mercenary Assessment. A group of people came to the location where the space trainee mercenaries were being assessed. Compared to the place where adventurers were registered, there were much fewer people here. Rorschach and the others handed over their adventure cards. The staff member looked at them one by one, and then said, Star level 1st level Spiritual Master, Stellar level 5th level Spiritual Master, Stellar level 3rd level Spiritual Master, Stellar level 9th level Spiritual Master, level 9 Warriors. You all meet the requirements for the Apprentice Mercenary Assessment. Please pay a fee of 10,000 Black Dragon coins each. Rorschach stepped forward to hand over the money. The staff nodded and swiped Rorschach's adventure cards on the machine one after another. These are the details of your assessment tasks. Go down and read them yourself, he said, returning the adventure card to Rorschach and the others. After leaving the place where they applied for the assessment, Rorschach and the others went to a restaurant, ordered some food, and then started reading the assessment tasks. Enter the Realm Lord world of Kanglan Star and get 3 Windhorn stones and 1 horn of the Iron Rhinoceros. Give these 3 things to the staff of the Space Mercenary Alliance guarding the exit of the Realm Lord world. The assessment task is completed. Melissa read the contents of the assessment task in a clear, moving and pleasant voice. After hearing this, Rorschach said, Are there any other things to note? Melissa looked down and said, There is a note here. It says that once someone is found to be cheating, the assessment opportunity will be cancelled forever. Cheating? Do you mean buying the Windhorn stone and the horn of the one-horned iron rhinoceros from other people? Luo Feng asked, touching his chin. Melissa nodded, yes. Luo Xia said, There is no need to cheat. I am more interested in the World Lord world than this assessment task. After finishing the meal, Rorschach and the others left the restaurant. At this time, a figure suddenly approached on the street. He smiled and asked, Gentlemen and ladies, are you going to take the Space Trainee Mercenary Assessment? I have something here that may be able to help you. Luo Feng asked curiously, What? I have a detailed map of the main world of Kanglan Star Realm, and the experience of many mercenaries who have completed the assessment. Do you need it? He said with a smile. Rorschach became interested, raised his eyebrows and asked, How much? Not much, 100 Black Dragon coins each. It's expensive, up to 20 Black Dragon coins. I will lose money on 20, sir. This printing and manpower are all expensive. 80 Black Dragon coins, you can take it? It's still too expensive. I just saw someone selling this. He sold it for 60 and I thought it was expensive. For 30 Black Dragon coins, I bought it. 50 Black Dragon coins, the businessman gritted his teeth. Okay. Rorschach smiled, happily gave the money, and then got the map. After that, they met another merchant selling this kind of map. The versions of the two sides were different, so Luo Xia bought another copy for 50 Black Dragon coins. After some comparison, I found that the maps were the same, only the words of experience were different. It seems that the World Lord's world changes every once in a while. In order to ensure their combat effectiveness, Luo Xia and the others gave Aogu and Tai Nanhe the Black God suit they had obtained from Ruin No. 9. As for Melissa, Rorschach spent a little more money to buy a 3rd level force suit and weapons for her. When they were ready, they took the spaceship, left the Horned Dragon planet, and headed to the Kanglan Star. Kanglan Star is one of the top 100 important planets among countless planets in the territory of the Black Dragon Mountain Empire. The World Lord world where Rorschach and the others conduct their assessment is on this planet. What a beautiful planet, comparable to our hometown. Luo Feng looked at the beautiful planet in front of the spacecraft, smiled and praised it. Rorschach also looked towards the planet at this time. This is their destination this time, Kanglan Star. Luo Feng watched Babata dock the spaceship into the docking port, and said curiously, It's strange to say that I heard that the area of the World Lord's world is larger than this planet, but the entrance is in the villa. In fact, it's strange. Sharp. Hearing this, Luoxia smiled and said, "It's very similar to the saying on Earth that one world is one grain of sand." "The spacecraft docked successfully," said Babata. After the spacecraft shook slightly, it became completely quiet. Luoxia and the others left the spacecraft, and after paying the parking fee, they flew towards Thunder City on Kanglan Star. Thunder City is not far from the port of Call. Rorschach and the others arrived at their destination after flying for a few minutes. They landed. The technology of this Thunder City is very advanced, with various towering buildings and floating vehicles flying in the city. "Babata, where is the headquarters of the Space Mercenary Alliance?" Rorschach asked. Babata appeared and pointed to Rorschach and the others. "Go over there. 30 kilometers away is the Mercenary Alliance's station on this planet. The world that Rorschach and the others want to enter is located in the Mercenary Alliance's headquarters." Under Babata's guidance, they quickly arrived at the station. A staff member received them and showed them the way. "Go that way. The villa in front of you, which is heavily surrounded, is Thunder World." Rorschach and the others looked in the direction pointed by the staff and saw a lonely villa that was heavily guarded. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Swallowed Star, my understanding is beyond belief. Author, Bo Yoon Song. Chapter 143. Let's go. The 5 Rorschachs walked towards the villa. The villa was protected by heavy guards. As soon as the 5 Rorschachs approached, the guards immediately cast stern looks at them. Suddenly, the guards guarding the villa moved aside. Then, with Rorschach and the others looking surprised, a man wearing a 1-star mercenary medal on his chest came out. The man looked up to the sky, and the guards around him stood respectfully behind him. From the looks of it, this man seems to be a leader in the Mercenary Alliance. "What's wrong?" Luo Feng asked in surprise. Rorschach vaguely heard the sound of some kind of engine driving from the sky, and he whispered, "Someone is coming." As soon as he finished speaking, a spaceship flashed from the sky. A huge shadow fell from the sky, covering the open space in front of the villa. The spaceship is suspended in the sky. Wow! The hatch opens. Young men and women flew out of the spaceship and landed in the open space in front of the villa. Rorschach glanced at it and saw that there were more than 20 young men and women coming out of the spaceship. With their posture, they are obviously genius disciples trained by some big forces. Lord Gaia. The 1-star cosmic mercenary stepped forward and greeted a man wearing a purple suit. This man in a purple battle suit is extremely handsome, with a 2-star mercenary medal hanging on his chest. He looked at the 1-star cosmic mercenary with a smile and said, "I just sent some of my boys here to take the probationary mercenary examination. There is no need for you, the leader, to greet them in person." The 1-star mercenary heard this and said respectfully, "Lord Gaia saved my life back then. You are here, how can I not come out?" He said, looking at the young men and women with a smile, and continued, "Are these the new members of the Black Cloud Society? Well, they all look good." The man in purple laughed and said, "There are some good prospects among these newcomers." After chatting with old friends, the man in purple looked at the young people he had sent and said, "I won't go into details about how dangerous the space trainee mercenary assessment is. I just hope, next time at the Black Cloud Club, I can still see you. Let's hurry up and enter the World Lord." "Yes, Chief Instructor." A group of young people responded respectfully. Then they naturally divided into 4 teams. In each team, there were people at the 2nd and 3rd levels of the star level, as well as people at the 8th and 9th level. Luoxia and the others stood aside and watched the people from the so-called Black Cloud Society enter the villa first. What kind of organization is Black Cloud? Rorschach asked. Aogu and the others all shook their heads, and Melissa said, "Master, we have never heard of this organization either. This Black Cloud Society is one of the 4 major organizations of our Black Dragon Mountain Empire." Who are the 4 major organizations? In addition to Black Cloud Club, there are also Behu Tower, 3 Axe Mountains, and Belong City. Babata said at this time, "I have detailed information on the major organizations in the Black Dragon Mountain Empire." Rorschach lowered his head and looked at the information projected on the wristband. "I found that there are quite a lot of organizations in the Black Dragon Mountain Empire. The most powerful are the 2 Holy Lands, founded by 2 Immortals respectively, Black Dragon Mountain and IC Divine Kingdom. Next, there is the 16th family. In every family, there is at least 1 Realm Lord level expert. Next, there are the 4 major organizations. Although the 4 major organizations are private organizations, their peak combat power is exactly the same as that of the 2 holy places. The 5 of them just got to know each other. After all the Black Cloud Club members had left, Luoxia and the others walked towards the villa. "We are here to take part in the Space Trainee Mercenary Assessment. Audition." Beep. The signal scanned the 5 Rorschachs. The group of guards heard the sound of the signal and looked at the data projected in their hands. They could match the 5 Rorschachs, and then they were put into the villa. "Go in." Entering the villa is a spacious garden. Walking through the garden, there is a 3-story ordinary villa. At the door of the villa, stood 2 women in black with cold expressions. One of them looked at the 5 Rorschachs and said solemnly, "5 adventurers, I believe you have some understanding of the dangers of the world you are about to enter. If you regret it now, you can still withdraw." "No, open the door," Luo Feng said. Another woman heard this and reminded, "The world of the Realm Master is on the 2nd floor of the villa." The 5 Rorschachs walked into the villa one after another, followed the stairs, and went up to the 2nd floor. The other rooms on the 2nd floor were all normal, except for one where a woman with purple patterns on her face stood at the door. When the woman saw Luoxia and the others coming, she opened the door without any nonsense. As soon as the door was opened, a stream of light leaked out. "This is..." Luo Feng looked at Lu Guang in surprise. Rorschach felt the rich power of the world from this stream of light. He smacked his lips and recalled the time when he almost died from the power of the world. That was truly an unforgettable memory. But thanks to his boldness at the time, he was able to receive the gift of the original will of the universe. "Go inside and you'll find the Thunder World," the woman with purple patterns on her face said. The 5 Rorschachs looked at each other, and according to the guidance map, they reached out and held each other's hands. Only by holding each other's hands can they not be scattered to different places after entering the Thunder World. "Walk." Tainan he was the first to step in, followed closely by Luo Feng, Luoxia, Melissa, and finally Aogu. When Rorschach and the others stepped into the stream of light, they immediately and silently disappeared. Snap! The woman with purple patterns on her face closed the door expressionlessly. It's like the world is upside down and the sun and moon are changing. Outside the villa, there was still sunshine, gardens, and beautiful women. However, after stepping into the stream of light, the world turned into night. Whoosh! Rorschach and the others are falling. The wind howled in their ears, and the huge gravity pulled their bodies, falling to the earth at a very fast speed. Rorschach reacted immediately. He immediately controlled the planet in his body to change the surrounding gravity, and stopped his body in mid-air. Rorschach held Luo Feng and Melissa, giving them time to adjust their flight. Huh! Luo Feng looked at the ground less than 5 meters away from him and exhaled, "I almost hit the ground. We seem to have fallen into a mountain range." Rorschach looked around, surrounded by tall mountains and lush forests. From time to time, the sounds of ferocious beasts could be heard coming from the quiet and terrifying deep mountain jungle. Luo Feng took out the map and checked it carefully. We should have fallen into the Longsuo Mountains. Lanzhou Mountains. Rorschach flew to a high place, carefully looked at the outline of the mountains, and compared it with the map image projected by Babada. Well, we seem to be deep in the Longsuo Mountains. The closest place to us is a place with a one-horned iron rhinoceros, which is to the west. Yayu Lake. Monster Moon Lake. Luo Feng looked at Luo Xia, who flew down again, and asked, "How far is it from here?" 30,000 kilometers, Babada said. Yayu Lake is a lake hundreds of kilometers wide. Because of its rich water source, many ferocious beasts gather around it, including the one-horned iron rhinoceros. I didn't expect that the place we came in was the Longsuo Mountains, which would be a bit troublesome, Luo Feng murmured. Rorschach nodded. The terrain of the Longsuo Mountains is complex, and there is not only the danger of ferocious beasts, but also humans who are lurking to rob and kill. Let's go. Pay attention to the sky. Rorschach followed Babada's instructions and began to move forward, while reminding Melissa and the others, if we see signs of thunder, we must stay away from that area as soon as possible. This world is called the Thunder World. It's because it contains a terrifying thunder power. If it is hit, the star will be instantly destroyed, leaving no chance of survival. There is a vicious beast 19 kilometers ahead on the right. There is a vicious beast 15 kilometers ahead at 9 o'clock. There is a ferocious beast 17 kilometers directly ahead. Babada has a very powerful detection ability. With her help, Rorschach and the others avoided various ferocious beasts and moved forward at an alarming speed. This kind of forward speed is absolutely unimaginable for many mercenary teams entering the Longsuo Mountains. Because in this Lord's world, the range of thought power's dispersion is very small. Even with Rorschach's mental power, the range of perception is not as good as Babada's detection range at this time. Her detector was dismantled from the fallen ink planet. The detection range reaches a diameter of 20,000 meters. Even the Realm Lord cannot escape her detection. So it was just a matter of detecting some ferocious beasts, and for Babada, sprinkle water. The mountains and forests are particularly difficult to navigate. None of the 5 Luoxia dared to fly in the sky. Because it is flying in the sky, it is easy to be discovered by ferocious beasts and ambushed by other humans. It took nearly 3 days for Luoxia and the others to arrive at Yayu Lake. This is a large lake that stretches as far as the eye can see. When Rorschach and the others arrived, the sky was about to turn into night, and light fell from the sky, making the lake sparkling. The trees around the lake have been trampled, collapsed, and broken. It seems that there are often a large number of ferocious beasts coming here to drink water. Luo Feng observed the surrounding situation and said to everyone. Luo Xia glanced around and said, "I didn't see any vicious beasts. It seems we have to wait here for a while." Luo Feng smiled and said, "It's good. We haven't encountered a battle since we came in. Just wait." Rorschach nodded. As for Melissa and the others, they naturally have no objections. The 5 people waited at the edge of Yayu Lake. The next day, they saw a large ferocious beast that looked like a lizard. On the 3rd day, they discovered other ferocious beasts, but unfortunately, none of them were the one-horned iron rhinoceros. Day 6. It was daytime at this time, and 9 light balls hung high in the sky, spreading light and heat. Luo Xia was idle and bored, chatting with Luo Feng about ancient Chinese legends. "Brother, you said that in the legend Hou Yi shot the sun, he didn't shoot the ball of light in the sky, right?" Luo Feng squinted his eyes and looked up at the sky. "You mean, in ancient times, Hou Yi also saw this kind of scene?" "It's very possible." Rorschach became interested and said, "Perhaps Hou Yi, like us, once received the inheritance of a strong man, and he entered the universe in a spaceship. One day, he entered a certain realm lord's world for training and saw a strange scene in the sky for 9 days, later, he returned to Earth and told his people about it. However, at that time, the people on Earth could not understand what Hou Yi said, but they still recorded what Hou-Yi said truthfully, and it became the legend of Hou-Yi shooting the sun that we see today. Babata shouted at this time, "Here they come! The unicorn is coming!" Rorschach and Luo Feng immediately put away their thoughts of chatting, and looked in the direction indicated by Babata with serious faces. Boom boom boom. The earth is shaking. The trees are falling and shaking. Such a big noise. Rorschach asked, "Babata, how many unicorns are coming?" Babata said, 26. As soon as she finished speaking, Rorschach and the others saw that giant creatures like trucks appeared in their field of vision. They came in a mighty manner, and every step made the earth shake slightly. The unicorn is similar in appearance to the rhinoceros on earth. They have thick skin like rocks, and on their heads, they have a sharp horn like a scimitar. There are too many of them, and it's hard for us to deal with them, Rorschach whispered. Luo Feng said, "We only need 5 horns, it seems that we can only lure them out one by one and solve them." "This thing doesn't seem to have a high IQ, it should be easy to lure it out," Rorschach said. Luo Feng opened his mouth and was about to speak, but at this time, Babata suddenly reminded him, "People from other teams are coming." Rorschach and Luo Feng immediately shut up, used telekinesis to send a message to Melissa and the others, and then the 5 of them restrained their breath and hid in the jungle nearby. In less than a second, a human team appeared in the sight of Rorschach and the others. The people in this team all wore black battle suits. As soon as they saw the unicorn, they immediately rushed up, extremely arrogant. Moo. A unicorn iron rhino discovered this group of humans and immediately raised its head and roared to alert the surrounding unicorns. However, the intelligence of the unicorn iron rhino was too low. Although they were numerous, they were still killed by this human team. 9 stellar level 9 level and 1 stellar level 2 level. Luo Xia looked at the strength information projected by Babata and said with telekinesis, "That stellar level 2 level is probably the son of a big force or a big family." Luo Feng looked at the group of people killing the unicorn iron rhino and said with telekinesis, "It seems that we have to wait for the arrival of the next wave of unicorn iron rhinos. There are too many of them in the stellar level 9 level, and we can't grab them." "It's okay." Luo Xia suddenly smiled, and after being reminded by Babata, he said, "Another group of unicorn iron rhinos are coming. This time there are more than 50 unicorn iron rhinos, and even they can't handle it." Boom boom boom. Sure enough, the earth shook. The roars came, and the faces of the people who were hunting the unicorn changed immediately. "Not good. It's a large group of unicorns. Quickly protect His Highness the 9th Prince. Retreat." While shouting, a black-clothed subordinate hugged the 9th Prince, stepped on a streamlined giant sword-like telekinetic weapon, and quickly flew into the sky. The other 8 black-clothed subordinates of the 9th level of the star level cut off a few unicorn horns from behind, and then began to flee frantically. Moo. Although the unicorns have low intelligence, they are very vindictive. Seeing that the group of humans in black battle suits were about to run, they immediately roared and chased after them. The earth shook, and the trees fell and broke. "Quick!" Luo Feng took the lead and rushed out, "Our chance is here." The group of black-clad men couldn't take away all the unicorns, so Luo Xia and his men had the upper hand. After Luo Xia and his men rushed out, they immediately chopped off the unicorn's horn. Moo. Just then, the unicorns that had chased out discovered the actions of Luo Xia and his men. They roared angrily and rushed towards Luo Xia and his men with more than 20 heads. At the same time, Babata also reminded, "Luo Xia, 12 kilometers away, there is a human team approaching us. They are probably going to rob and kill us." Huh. Luo Xia narrowed his eyes, glanced at the unicorns that were rushing over, and shouted to his eldest brother Luo Feng and his men, "Brother, someone is coming towards us." "Then let's go," Luo Feng shouted. The 5 of them had already obtained 6 horns of the unicorn iron rhino and could leave directly. The 5 rushed into the nearby forest. 12 kilometers, for a star-level powerhouse, is just a matter of 1 second in the outside world, but in this world of the Master of the World, it takes several seconds. In the dense woods, Luoxia and his team flew all the way. Before entering the world of the Master of the World, they updated their equipment on the Kai-Along star. The materials of the battle suits they are wearing now are all D-level. D-level alloy is not too expensive if it is only used to make battle suits. With the money Luoxia and Luo Feng have now, they can still afford it. Babata, how strong are the people chasing us? Luoxia asked. 7-star level 9th level, 1-star level 2nd level, and 1-star level 3rd level, Babata said. Rorschach narrowed his eyes slightly when he heard this. Babata said, the opponent's speed is very fast, and the distance is shrinking, 8 kilometers. 6 kilometers. Rorschach transmitted a message to Luo Feng, brother, the opponent's speed is very fast, there are 7-star level 9th level masters. Luo Feng frowned, looked at Luoxia, and asked, what should we do? Rorschach grinned, them. The reason why I ran away just now was because the one-horned iron rhinoceros was also chasing me. But it doesn't mean that Rorschach and the others are afraid of the human team. Behind Rorschach and the others, a group of people were chasing them. Among them was a young man with a harmless smile. He wore a force suit that looked like a leather jacket, and carried a giant sword on his back that was taller than others. At this time, he was being held by his partner next to him, relying on his partner's telepathy to quickly pursue Rorschach and the others. Cut. The young man lowered his head and looked at the intelligent optical computer screen on his arm, 2 stellar level 9th levels, 1 stellar level 5th level, 1 stellar level 3 level, and 1 stellar level 1st level. Humph! How dare you be so weak? Is the World Lord coming? Huh? Suddenly, he asked in surprise, aren't you going to run away? Then, he showed a harmless-looking smile and said, are you accepting your fate? Call out. At this moment, a black light with purple light shot from the front. The young man didn't react at all. The red mixed copper mother plated with silver alloy used unparalleled kinetic energy to break through the defense of his force suit, piercing and exploding his head like a watermelon. What? The others were startled and were about to take action. Buzz. The field of rapid expansion unfolds. In a world that seems to have been slowed down dozens of times, Rorschach controls the red mixed copper mother and easily harvests the enemy's lives. These 9th level stars are very powerful. But it would be too easy for Luoxia, who had a domain and a red mixed copper mother, to kill them. Buzz. Rorschach takes back the realm. Call out. The red mixed copper mother plated with silver alloy flew in front of Luoxia like a silver lightning and was put into the space ring by him. At the same time, the heads of the 9 figures in the sky suddenly exploded like watermelons in summer. The headless corpses shot out warm blood and fell powerlessly from the sky. Melissa and the others looked behind, their eyes full of surprise. Aogu shook his head and said with a smile, I feel like there is no need for me to take action. Master Luoxia is much stronger than me. The smile on Melissa's face was extremely beautiful. The master owns a domain and understands the power of the original law. He can fight even the 1st and 2nd level experts in the universe. Thanks to book friend 20231105684509 for the 588 reading coins. Thanks to the book friend for the 100 reading coins. Thank you so much. At the same time, thank you to all readers who subscribed and voted. Thank you very much. Swallowed Star, my understanding is beyond belief. Author, Bo Yun Song. Chapter 144. In just a blink of an eye, the 9 people who came after him were killed by Rorschach. Clean up the battlefield. Luo Feng ordered Tai Nanhe and the others. Tai Nanhe, Aogu, and Melissa began to clean the battlefield. After a while, Melissa suddenly said, Master, they seem to be people from Behu Tower. Are you from Behu Tower? Luo Xia was slightly surprised, but he didn't care very much. No matter what their identity is, kill them all. Is there anything good about them? These 9th level stellar things are not very good. Aogu said, all the good things are in this young man and girl, including space rings, telepathy weapons, intelligent optical brains, etc. You can use this flying telekinesis weapon. Luo Feng began to distribute the trophies. Tai Nan He is the same. You can take whichever force weapon you like. I'll give this space ring to Melissa. Melissa smiled and took the ring, bowed slightly. Thank you, Master. After distributing the spoils, Luo Xia and the others left the fighting place and moved forward. Luo Feng said, Xiao Xia, now that we have the horn of the one-horned iron rhinoceros, it is time to get the wind horn stone. As Rorschach hurried on, he asked Babata to project the map. He said, the wind horn stone is only found in the core area of the World Lord's world, Fenglai Canyon. The distance from us to Fenglai Canyon is more than 300,000 kilometers. If the journey goes well, we should be able to arrive in a month. If this distance were placed in the outside world, Rorschach and the others would be able to reach it very quickly. But in this World Lord world, the gravity is too great. According to Babata's calculations, the gravity in this thunder world is 3,900 times that of the Earth. Rorschach and the others cannot fly at the highest speed. Moreover, there are too many dangers in this world, and many ferocious beasts are very powerful, which are not something Rorschach and the others can handle. Even with Babata alerting and detecting them, their speed would not be much faster. The one-horned iron rhino group is basically at the edge of the world. No matter where we go to hunt the one-horned iron rhinoceros, we will eventually have to cross half of the world to go to Fenglai Canyon. Luo Feng looked at the map and said to Luo Xia and the others. After all, this is training and screening. Luo Xia smiled, if you can't even pass this level, you will naturally not be qualified to take risks and wander in the universe. That's right, Luo Feng nodded. Luo Xia said, no matter how far it is, let's work steadily and move forward step by step. Anyway, there is no time limit for this assessment, so we can take our time. Well, let's go. Rorschach asked Babata to choose a route with a shorter distance but more ferocious beasts. On this route, because there are many ferocious beasts, there are very few humans. If they take this route, Rorschach and the others will only have to consider dealing with the ambush of the ferocious beast. However, with Babata's detection, the route that is very dangerous for other teams is the safest for Rorschach and the others. Under Babata's guidance, Rorschach and the others avoided the vicious beasts and kept moving forward. 42 days later, Rorschach and the others finally arrived at Fenglai Canyon. More than a month has passed. Except for Aogu and Tai Nan He, everyone's level has been raised by 1 level. Luo Feng is now a 2nd level star level spiritual master and a 9th level planet level warrior. Rorschach is a 6th level astral level psychic master and a 4th level astral level warrior. Melissa was promoted to the 4th level of stellar level. Although this thunder world is very dangerous, their lives are stimulated in this terrible environment, and they evolve and improve in this high-pressure environment. Rorschach looked at the mountains in the distance. The place seemed to be shrouded in snowflakes, and it was dark. If you look carefully, you will find that it is not snowflakes and dark clouds, but a strong wind mixed with a large number of stones. There are cumulus clouds over the mountains. Electric snakes circulated in the cumulus clouds, and thunder boomed. Luo Feng took out the map manual and said, it's very similar to the description on the map. It should be Fenglai Canyon. Let's go. Rorschach said, taking the lead and walking forward. Luo Feng and the others quickly followed. This wind and thunder canyon has been filled with strong winds and thunder for a long time. The ground is bare and the rocks are pitch black, occasionally mixed with a hint of silver. The wind is so strong, Luo Feng said with some difficulty. Seeing that Melissa was about to be blown away, Rorschach quickly grabbed her hand and said, "The wind here is at least 50 or 60, right? You know, with Luosia's current physical fitness, even if they stand in the so-called Category 12 typhoon, they will not be shaken at all. But the strong wind blowing from the Wind and Thunder Canyon almost blew them away." Babata said, "According to the data, the wind in this Wind and Thunder Canyon becomes stronger as it reaches the center and bottom. The wind at the bottom and center contains strong original energy of the universe. Even the strong ones at the cosmic level can fly to in the middle of the canyon. Everyone will be blown to shreds by the strong wind, and they will definitely die." Rorschach said, "But at the bottom of the canyon, there are the most wind hornstones. If we want to get the wind cornerstone, we just need to grab the wind cornerstone that was blown up by the strong wind." Luo Feng shook his head. "Don't do anything risky." Rorschach nodded and said to Babata, "Babata, scan this canyon and find us a better place to grab the wind hornstone." Babata nodded. "The scan is complete, and it has spread to a surrounding area of 20 kilometers with you as the center. There are a total of 1092 humans. The better place to grab the wind hornstone is in front. You continue to move forward." "Understood." Rorschach nodded, held Melissa's hand to prevent her from being blown away, and then continued moving forward with his eldest brother Luo Feng and the others. The central area of the mountain range seemed to have been split open by a divine sword, completely splitting the entire mountain range into a huge canyon. In this canyon, the strong wind originated from the original energy of the universe is roaring wantonly, mixed with a large amount of gravel, including some wind hornstones, which dance wildly with the wind. If you accidentally fall in, you will definitely be like Babata said, like that, blown into shreds by the wind. On the mountain walls on both sides of the canyon, there are young generations from many families, many forces, and many planets in the Black Dragon Mountain star region. "Go this way," Babata pointed to Luoxia and the others. "The location I found for you is very good." Rorschach came to a rock and followed Babata's prompts to lift up a rock to reveal a cave. He quickly sent a message to Luo Feng and the others, "Brother, there is a cave entrance here, which is directly connected to the canyon wall. Go. Babata is great, you can find such a good place." Luo Feng's eyes lit up, and after letting Tai Nan he go in first, he followed suit. Rorschach and Melissa followed closely, and Aogu entered last and was responsible for blocking the entrance of the hole again. This cave is in a mountain range. If you walk along the cave, you will reach the mountain wall of the Wind and Thunder Canyon that is filled with strong winds and gravel. "Master," suddenly, Melissa's eyes lit up and she picked up a strange blue stone from the ground. "Windhorn stone." Luo Feng and Luo Xia looked over and smiled. Tai Nan he smiled and said, "Melissa is so lucky, she can even pick up a windhorn stone." "Haha, put it away," Rorschach said. "This is a good sign, indicating that all our next actions will go smoothly." Melissa happily put away the windhorn stone. At this time, Luo Xia and Luo Feng came to the entrance of the mountain wall on the side of Fenglai Canyon. The two brothers looked at the howling wind and gravel, their faces slightly solemn. Luo Feng said, "According to the experience recorded in the map manual, we now have three options to obtain the windhorn stone. The first method is to go to the top of the canyon and collect wind stones with all your strength. The wind at the top is relatively light, and a star level 7 or 8 can withstand the strong wind. However, this method is very dangerous and can easily be struck by lightning. The second method is like what we are doing now, waiting for the opportunity at the entrance of the cave. If you see the strong wind blowing the windhorn stone, use your mental power or the force to pull it over. Doing this is just like fishing. It requires a lot of effort. Of patience. The third method is to kill other teams that have obtained the wind cornerstone and plunder their wind cornerstone." Luo Feng said and looked at Luo Xia, "I want to use the second method. The first and third methods are too dangerous." Luo Xia nodded, "Let's take the second option. We happen to have Moyun Vine, so it's easy to get the wind cornerstone from the strong wind. Yes, we can also use Moyun Vine, Luo Feng said. The original energy of the universe in the Wind and Thunder Canyon is too strong. In such an environment, the spiritual power is easily dissipated and cannot be extended very far. With Rorschach's mental strength, he could reach up to 5 or 6 meters before being dispelled. As for Luo Feng, his mental power could not stretch even 1 meter. After discussing how to obtain the wind hornstone, Luo Xia and the others continued to wait and wait. It is worth mentioning that although the original energy of the universe in the Wind and Thunder Canyon will dissipate mental power, it is also a good place to exercise mental power. As they used their mental power to grab the wind hornstones in the strong wind every day, Luo Xia and Luo Feng's mental power became more concentrated and powerful. 10 days and a half passed. Rorschach and the others had already obtained 3 wind hornstones from the strong wind, and together with the one picked up by Melissa, they were just short of the last one. On this day, Luo Xia stayed at the entrance of the cave, continued to condense his mental power, and probed into the strong wind outside. At this time, there was no wind stone in the strong wind. He did this just to exercise his mental power. Boom boom boom. At this moment, the entire Fenglai Canyon suddenly shook without warning. What's going on? Luo Feng was startled and ducked to the entrance of the cave. Looking out, he saw that the mountains not far away suddenly split open and a dark black hole appeared. Rorschach saw the black hole at this time and laughed in his heart. The entrance to this realm within a realm has finally been opened. Aogu looked at the black hole and murmured to himself, "What is this?" At this moment, Babata's voice of uncontrollable excitement sounded, "Rorschach! Luo Feng! This is the entrance to a world." The entrance to the world, Luo Feng was stunned. At this time, various shouts rang out from the mountain walls on both sides of the canyon. A realm within a realm. This may be the entrance to a realm within a realm. Yes. A realm within a realm. Come on. Quick. A large number of star-level young people went crazy. They excitedly turned into tens of thousands of streams of light and flew towards the black hole above the mountain range. Babata, what does the realm within the realm mean? Luo Feng asked. Babata said, you all know that world masters can create a world, and some world masters will create another world within the world they built. This phenomenon of worlds within worlds is a world within a world. She pointed to the black hole not far away, and that is the entrance to a realm within a realm. It is very difficult to create a realm within a realm, and the cost is also very high. Therefore, it is usually to hide treasures and build a realm at any cost. Middle boundary. Luo Feng's eyes lit up and he said, so there are many treasures in this world within a world. Definitely, Babata nodded, looking excited but also a little worried, but this may not be a good thing for you. You mean? The emergence of a realm within a realm will definitely attract many big shots, Babata said. I estimate that soon the world outside the realm will be controlled. By then, as idlers, if you want to leave here, you won't be able to leave here. Easy. Luo Xia said at this time, the boat will naturally go straight when it reaches the bridge. Take it one step at a time. Let's go in first and get the benefits first. Xiao Xia is right, Luo Feng nodded, let's go. Many people have gone in. It seems that there is no danger at the entrance. Let's go in too. Rorschach and the others flew towards the black hole. Not long after, they rushed into the black hole. Is this a realm within a realm? Rorschach looked around. The weather in this world seemed to be like night. It was so dark that the naked eye could not see very far. Hoo ho ho. As Rorschach and the others entered the realm within the realm, more people from the outside world were coming in. As soon as these people rushed into the realm within the realm, they immediately flew away into the distance. Let's find a direction to fly, Luo Feng said. Rorschach nodded and said to Babata, Babata, remember to detect all the way. If there is any energy fluctuation, tell me. Babata nodded, no problem. After giving instructions to Babata, Rorschach and the others found a random direction and flew out. At the same time, news of the realm within the realm was also spread throughout the Black Dragon Mountain Empire. Countless powerful men flew towards Kanglan Star. These strong men are all world lords and domain lords in strength. Thunder World was created by the World Master Kabyu back then. I didn't expect that he would create another world within Thunder World. No wonder no one could find the treasure hidden by Kabyu. It turns out they are all hidden in that realm within a realm. The Cosmic Mercenary Alliance is also interesting. They got this Thunder World early, excavated it for so long, and found all the treasures before transporting a large number of ferocious beasts to make it an assessment world. Who would have thought that now there is a world in the assessment world? Boundary. Kabyu has been dead for tens of millions of years. Over the years, no one has been able to find the set of space secrets he used back then. Now it seems that it is probably hidden in that realm, right? I am very close to Kanglan Star. Kabyu, I will accept your inheritance. The secret method of space. If I can find the secret method of space left by Kabyu, my induction of the original law of space can go one step further. The realm lords and territory lords are not worried at all that the treasures in the realm within the realm will be taken away by those who participate in the assessment. In their eyes, the astral class is nothing more than cannon fodder. This kind of stone seems to be unique to this world. It has never been seen in the Thunder World outside. The energy level is very low. Rorschach, are you sure we want to collect this kind of thing? Babata asked in confusion as he watched Rorschach dig out an inconspicuous stone. Dig, Luoxia knew that this unique stone could be exchanged for treasures later. The other mercenaries don't know yet. You have to dig more now? There are many such stones in this area, a total of 165,204. Although Babata didn't know why Rorschach wanted to dig such a low-energy stone, she saw that Rorschach had made up his mind and did not persuade her. Instead, she started detection and marked the location of the unique stone to Rorschach. Brother, dig with me, Rorschach said. Luo Feng nodded. Aogu and the others also came to help. After more than 5 hours, Luoxia and the others had finished digging out the thunderstones in this area. Then, they moved on. Babata suddenly said, wait. Rorschach, Luo Feng. There is a cosmic crystal 2,400 meters below. Cosmic crystal, Luoxia and Luo Feng's eyes lit up. This is a good thing, real cosmic hard currency. One cosmic coin made with cosmic crystals can be exchanged for more than 3,000 dry witch coins. Rorschach starts digging. With the help of Moyan Teng, he used red mixed copper mother and quickly dug to a depth of 2,400 meters underground. So big. In the dark underground, huge dark blue crystals are hidden in the rocky soil. Wow, ha ha ha, Babata was very excited. With a wave of his hand, he immediately put the huge dark blue crystal into the storage space. Boom. Without the cosmic crystal, the rocks and soil began to collapse. Rorschach quickly flew up along the dug cave. Babata, how big is this cosmic crystal? 11,000 square meters, Babata said happily. Luoxia's eyes lit up. 11,000 cubic cosmic crystals are equivalent to 11 million cosmic coins. If converted into dry witch coins, it is 33 billion dry witch coins. This money has exceeded the money in the first account that teacher Hu Yanbo left for them. Sure enough, you can make money by taking risks, Luoxia said happily. Teacher Hu Yanbo left them not much money. Babata was also very happy and said, let's keep looking. Now in the center of the world, I'm afraid everyone is fighting for cosmic crystals and looking for treasures, but in this marginal area, it's safer. We can first look for cosmic crystals and the kind of stones you mentioned in this outer area. Yeah. As they spoke, they had returned to the ground. Luo Feng came up and asked, Xiao Xia, how many cosmic crystals have you mined? 11,000 cubic meters, Luo Xia said. Hearing this, Luo Feng grinned, okay. Okay. Hurry, let's find it quickly. Time is money now. It takes too much money for his golden horned giant beast to grow up. The first account left by teacher Hu Yanbo is almost not enough money. If they can find enough cosmic crystals in this world, they will have enough money to improve themselves. Swallowed Star, my understanding is beyond belief. Author, Bo Yun Song. Chapter 145. Cosmic Crystal, about 9,500 square meters. Unique Stones, 210,054. Cosmic Crystal, about 6,582 square meters. Unique Stones, 157,826. In the following time, Rorschach and the others were on the edge of the realm within the realm, looking for the cosmic crystal and thunderstone. Although the center of the world within a world has the most cosmic crystals, the two major holy places, the four major organizations, the 16 families, as well as adventurers from various elementary nations and planets in the universe have basically all gone to the center. As I write this, I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network Rightward Arrow. There is now a situation where there are more wolves and less meat. The number of cosmic crystals that each person can get is probably not as much as what jungle players like Luo Xia and Luo Feng can get. The scattered cosmic crystals gather together into many, which is still amazing. Babata said with a smile while looking at the large number of cosmic crystals in the storage space. 5 or 6 days have passed, and Luo Xia and the others have found more than 56,000 cubes of cosmic crystals. More than 1.5 million thunderstones have also been found. Luo Feng said, we have to find it quickly, otherwise when people from major organizations arrive here, the benefits we can get will be even less. Rorschach nodded and said to Babata, Babata, let's continue. Babata grinned, okay. At the same time, outside the world of the Realm Lord, on the Kanglan Star, some powerful people such as Realm Lords, Territory Lords, and Universe Levels who are relatively close to Kanglan Star have already arrived on Kanglan Star. However, just as they were about to enter the World Lord's world, they were stopped outside the villa by a woman. Ming Yu, the Domain Lord level expert who pulled Luo Xia into the Virtual Universe Company, was also outside the villa at this time. He looked at the woman who stopped everyone with a very bad expression. Anyone who comes happily running over and is suddenly stopped by someone will not feel better. Ming Yu narrowed his eyes and stared at the woman with short silver hair. The two of them had just exchanged words. However, the woman did not reveal much information other than giving her name, saying her name was Kanya. Kinya's strength is not very high. But she acted like she was upholding justice and would report anyone who dared to break the rules to the Alliance, so that Ming Yu and the others did not dare to act rashly. Boom! At this moment, the world trembled slightly. Everyone outside the villa looked into the sky and saw a silver-white pyramid suddenly appearing in the sky. Ming Yu and others were shocked, a spaceship from the mechanical race. In the Black Dragon Mountain Empire, there are not many people who can own a mechanical spacecraft. Moreover, the pyramid spaceship that suddenly appeared was silver-white and looked quite high-end. I don't know which big shot came over. Ming Yu murmured in his heart when he saw the silver-white pyramid in the sky suddenly disappear. Immediately afterwards, an extremely muscular bald man suddenly appeared. His eyes were faintly burning with flames, and there were marks of flames between his eyebrows. Lord Ammons. Ming Yu and the others trembled in their souls under the strong man's gaze. At the same time, they also recognized the person and quickly bowed and saluted. Ammons, known as the Fire Realm Lord, is the absolute pinnacle master among the Realm Lords in the Black Dragon Mountain Empire. Get out of the way. Ammons dodged as if teleporting, came to Kinya, and shouted to her in a cold voice. Kinya looked at Ammons, not in awe like the others. She just looked at Ammons calmly, and when she saw the flame mark between his eyebrows, a strange smile appeared at the corner of her mouth. Ammons, have you reached the recognition of the original law of the universe? You are worthy of being the pinnacle of the world master. Kinya seemed to praise Ammons, and then her tone changed halfway and said coldly, however, this is an assessment world. An assessment world recognized by the Space Mercenary Alliance. Only stellar adventures that participate in the assessment anyone can enter, no mercenaries are allowed to enter. Ammons' face was cold, and there was a faint flame burning in his eyes. He shouted again, I asked you to get out of the way. His voice was rich and powerful, and it had a soul-shaking feeling. If someone were weaker, their soul would probably collapse under this voice. At this moment, Kinya's body suddenly bloomed with silver-white brilliance. In the bright and dazzling silver light, she was as holy as a legendary goddess, but when she spoke, she was extremely irritable. Presumptuous. She pointed angrily at Ammons, not taking him at all as a powerful person at the pinnacle of the Realm Lord. Ammons, do you dare to challenge the laws of the Space Mercenary Alliance? In the assessment world, non-stellar adventurers are not allowed to enter. If you want to die, just go in. Her voice was more murderous than Ammons' words. Kinya looked at Ammons coldly, not giving him any face at all. I can guarantee that if you enter now, our Space Mercenary Alliance law enforcement team will definitely kill you and turn your soul into nothingness afterwards, no trace left. As she spoke, she looked at the others and said coldly, there are others, please listen to me. She suddenly stepped aside, pointed at the villa and said, if you want to die, just go in. For a moment, it became quiet outside the villa. Everyone looked at the extremely powerful Kinya and began to think thoughtfully. As time passed, more and more powerful people came outside the villa, but these powerful people could only stare at the villa and did not dare to go beyond the rules and actually step into the villa. As Kinya said, if you want to die, go in. Although the Black Dragon Mountain Empire can be considered a strong one, they are nothing compared to the behemoth Space Mercenary Alliance. You know, many immortal-level experts may not even be qualified to look at the gate of the headquarters of the Universe Mercenary Alliance. What's more, these are powerful people at the Realm Lord and Domain Lord level. In desperation, these World Lord level experts could only hold a meeting in the virtual universe. The content of the meeting was simple. Didn't Xenia say that non-stellar level adventurers are not allowed to enter? Then they won't go in. Just let the stellar adventurers under you go in. Anyway, as leaders of major organizational forces, they have many stellar adventurers under their command. A meeting was held and it was finally decided. 16 families, each sending up to 10,000 stellar adventurers. Each of the 4 major organizations can dispatch up to 200,000 stellar adventurers. The 2 Holy Lands, each side can send up to 500,000 stellar adventurers. After the meeting started, the villa on Kanglan Star was blocked by major organizations, and other stellar adventurers were prohibited from entering the Thunder World. Of course, any adventurer who is not part of their organization and wants to come out of the World Lord must join their organization or be searched by them before they can be released. Not long after, a black mass of stellar adventurers appeared on Kanglan Star. Kinya was also helpless about this. Because everyone else acted according to the rules, she couldn't keep these stellar adventurers out. They can only be allowed to enter the world of the World Lord. And when these strong men were stopped by Kinya, Luoxia and Luofeng were frantically sweeping through the realm within the realm. Rorschach, this is bad. Just as Rorschach and the others were preparing to head to the next location to continue searching for the Cosmic Crystal and Thunderstone, Babata's voice suddenly rang. Rorschach wondered, what's wrong, Babata? I got a message in the virtual universe. Babata said, for some reason, in this World Lord world, no strong people above the star level can enter. Then those strong people gathered their star-level adventurers, the number of which is more than 2 million. It won't be long before we reach the realm within a realm. More than 2 million stellar adventurers. When Luo Xia heard this, his expression became solemn. On the other side, Luo Feng's expression wasn't very good either. He only felt his scalp was numb. Now we're in trouble. There are more than 2 million stellar adventurers, and they are all members of major forces. Idle people like them will be in a very difficult situation. This is not the most troublesome thing. What I was worried about finally happened. Babata said worriedly, now the powerful people from all sides have gathered on Kanglan Star to prohibit other adventurers from entering the Thunder World. At the same time, once someone leaves the Thunder World, such as us, as long as they are not in the two holy places, people from the 4 major organizations and 16 families. When Luo Feng heard this, his expression changed again. Obviously, the major organizations in the Black Dragon Mountain Star territory have joined forces to swallow up this realm within the realm. As long as they are not members of their influence, they will be threatened and forced. In serious cases, they may kill and seize treasure. Melissa and the others were panicked. Now the whole situation is very unfavorable to them. Luo Xia was still calm and said to Luo Feng and the others, I think I have a way. Xiao Xia, what can you do? Luo Feng asked. Luo Xia said, brother, you know, when I was in the killing fields, I came into contact with a strong person at the domain lord level. That strong person was an external member of the virtual universe company. I think there is such a thing as a world within a world. The other party must have come to join in the fun. He touched his chin and sorted out his thoughts. I can go to the territory lord for help, name us under his name, and act here in his name. At worst, I can donate a treasure to him after I go out. Luo Feng thought about it and nodded after a while. This is a way. However, you know the person but not the heart. Xioxia, you have only met the domain lord once, and you don't know what his character is. We will leave here by then. He won't kill us to seize the treasure, right? Babata said at this time. Don't worry too much about this matter. After all, the outside world will be strong from all sides. If that territory lord dares to kill people and seize treasures, his reputation will be ruined. Sometimes reputation seems useless, but invisibility has a great effect. If you kill people and seize treasures at will and ruin your reputation, you will have no friends in the circle. Without friends, you will lose a lot of resources. That territory lord wouldn't be that stupid. Hearing this, Luo Feng nodded, that's right. Brother, then I will enter the virtual universe to contact him, Luo Xia said. Luo Feng nodded, well, be careful. Understood. Rorschach smiled, and his consciousness followed Babata into the virtual universe. The outside world, Kanglan Star. In a tavern, Mingyu and a familiar domain lord were sitting in the tavern chatting. The people sitting in this tavern are either cosmic level or domain lord level experts. Ordinary adventurers would not dare to come in. There are so many people entering the Thunder World this time. Territory Lord Xiao Donglei, who is friends with Mingyu, said with emotion. Mingyu looked at the long line of stellar adventurers outside the sky, and looked quite emotional. After all, it is the treasure of Lord Kabu. I heard that the space secrets of Lord Kabu may be hidden there. Within the realm, no wonder everyone is so excited and crazy. Yes, Xiao Donglei nodded. In fact, they, the territory lords, are also very coveted for that space secret method. After all, if they obtain the secret method of space, they will have a greater chance of breaking through and becoming immortal in the future. But they also knew that their own strength was not enough to compete with those realm lords, so they did not focus on the secrets of space, but on the other treasures of the Kabu realm lord. Xiao Donglei took a sip of wine and said, you and I have brought 1,000 people in, and we don't know what they can get for us. The stellar flight is slow, and there are ferocious beasts blocking it. Even if we dare to rush forward with the help of many people, it will still take 7 or 8 days to fly to Fenglai Canyon. Mingyu shook his head and said, so, those who have the time advantage are the people who entered the Thunder World earlier. They are the most likely to get the treasure of the world within the world. Xiao Donglei nodded, it was indeed the case, and asked, is there anyone under your command who was in the Thunder World from the beginning? No one, and you know that our 3 Axe Mountains don't train young people. Mingyu said, looking slightly startled, and then said to Xiao Donglei, wait for me for a while, an external member who I recruited into our company before is looking for me. External member, Xiao Donglei looked at Mingyu in confusion. Is it worthy for Mingyu to see an external member? This is not an ordinary external member. Mingyu smiled proudly, the talent and understanding of that little guy, even if they are placed in the headquarters, he is one of the most amazing and talented ones. Under Xiao Donglei's interested gaze, Mingyu's consciousness was immersed in the virtual universe. Killing fields, in a meditation room. Mingyu, who appeared here, answered Luoxia's communication request. Lord Minjiao. Luoxia's virtual projection bowed to Minjiao. Mingyu looked at Luoxia and asked with a smile, what do you want from me? Rorschach also beat around the bush and said straight to the point. It's like this, Master Minjiao, my brother and I are in the realm within the realm of Thunder World. I heard that this place will soon be flooded with a large number of stellar adventurers. They are all major people who organize forces. My brother and I want to act in this world within a world in the name of adults. Of course, if we are lucky enough to get a treasure later, we will dedicate the treasure to you. I also hope to get the approval of adults. Mingyu's eyes flashed, he was really dozing off and a pillow was brought to him. He was just worried that there was no one of his own in the world within the world, when Rorschach came to his door. He smiled and said to Luoxia, okay, you can use my name to act inside, send me all your information, and I will give it to the relevant person in charge. Then no one will embarrass you. Thank you, sir. Luoxia bowed slightly, and then ordered Babata to send information about himself and his eldest brother to Mingyu. Soon after, Mingyu's consciousness returned. Xiao Donglei looked at Mingyu with great interest and asked, who is the little guy you went to meet, and you praised him so much? It is not uncommon for Mingyu to utter the words of amazing talent and beauty. Mingyu took a sip of wine before he laughed and said, I also discovered that little guy by accident. A few months ago, on a whim, I went to the killing fields to watch the duel, and then I discovered that kid during a duel. I don't know. Xiao Donglei and Mingyu were both members of the External Army Department of the Virtual Universe Company, so Mingyu didn't mind telling Xiao Donglei some of Luoxia's information. When Xiao Donglei heard that Luoxia had a 5th level domain at the stellar level, his eyes began to widen. Later, he heard Mingyu say that Luoxia had understood the power of the original law and even defeated the super elites under his command. At this time, Xiao Donglei couldn't help shouting, real or false? His voice was a little loud, and everyone else in the tavern looked this way. Xiao Donglei didn't care, he just looked at Mingyu with burning eyes. Mingyu chuckled, nodded, and said, of course it's true. Can I still lie to you? Xiao Donglei still said in disbelief, I just can't believe it. After all, the star level has 5 realms and can understand the power of the original law and so on. It sounds like talking in a dream. You will know when that little guy comes out and I ask him to come see you, Mingyu said cheerfully. When his consciousness returned to his body, Luoxia sighed secretly. There was really no other way to find Mingyu this time. After all, with their current strength, they simply cannot slip away from the clutches of major organizations. I lean against a big tree so I can enjoy the shade. The ancients said they would not deceive me. Brother, now more than 2 million adventurers are entering the Thunder World. It may only take 7 or 8 days for them to reach the realm within the realm, so it is very dangerous for us to wander around the periphery now. We must hurry up and go there, it's the heart of the realm within the realm. Luo Xia said to Luo Feng. Luo Feng nodded, well, the cosmic crystal is very precious, but obviously, the treasure left by the realm master is the most precious thing in this realm within a realm. He looked at Babata and asked, Babata, how many cosmic crystals do we have now? Babata said, we have collected 98,520 cubic cosmic crystals now. So many cosmic crystals are more than 300 billion Wu coins. Now Luo Xia and Luo Feng's wealth has far exceeded the money in the first account left by teacher Hu Yanbo. What about those stones that are unique to the world? Luo Xia asked again. Babata said helplessly, the energy level of these stones is very low. Although they are also good energy aggregates, they are of no value at all. I don't know why you have to collect them. Rorschach smiled and said, our philosophers on Earth said that the existence of anything must have its reason. I think this kind of stone that is unique to the world in the world may bring us unexpected gains in the future. Tell me how many there are. Babata glanced at the thunderstone in the storage space and replied, more than 2 million. More than 2 million. Luo Xia's eyes flashed. Sorry, I'm late. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Swallowed Star, my understanding is beyond belief. Author, Bo Yun Song. Chapter 146. Searched can on Google. There are no ferocious beasts in the realm within the realm. The ferocious beasts in the Thunder World were not there from the beginning, but were specially transported in for the purpose of assessment and screening by the Universe Mercenary Alliance. This world within a world has just been discovered by everyone, and it is still very primitive. Of course, it doesn't mean that there are no dangerous beasts. On the contrary, today's world within a world is the most dangerous. Because there were people vying for cosmic crystals and treasures everywhere, Rorschach and the others flew from the edge to the core. In just 7 days, they suffered 28 robberies and murders. The closer you get to the core area, the more robberies you encounter. Rorschach and the others were able to fight back at the beginning and collected a lot of trophies. But later on, the number of people who were robbed and killed increased, and there were often 50, 60, or hundreds of people. It was not something Luo Xia and the others could contend with. They could only start running away every time they encountered them. In fact, if it weren't for Babata's detection and warning, Rorschach and the others would have encountered more robberies and murders. It's day 8 now. Over there at the Black Entrance, stellar adventurers summoned by those organizations should begin to pour in. Luo Feng looked at the ball of light in the sky and said to Luo Xia, this ball of light is equivalent to the sun in this realm within a realm. It brings light and warmth to the realm within the realm. At the same time, it also allows adventurers to determine the core area of the realm within the realm. Because this ball of light is located in the sky at the core of the entire world within a world. As long as you get closer to this ball of light, you can reach the core area of the realm within the realm. We should be almost at the core area, Rorschach said. Those who arrived at the core area early don't know if they have found the treasure. If it is found, the battle will not spread so far, Luo Feng said. In addition, they belong to various organizations and forces, and they are restraining each other. Maybe they have found the treasure, but because they are not sure, they have not started yet. Take action. It's possible. Wait. Someone is chasing me again. Luo Xia's expression suddenly changed and he shouted to his eldest brother Luo Feng and the others. What? Luo Feng and Melissa's expressions changed. The killings were coming one after another. Let's fly over there. There are 50 people on the other side. Among them are 49 ninth level stars, Rorschach said. He turned in a direction and led the way. However, he didn't fly for long when he heard Baba Tower's voice said, there are people in this direction too. Rorschach stopped and frowned deeply. Babata, We may be surrounded. If you investigate carefully, the people in these two directions may be from the same team. Babita looked anxious. Understood. She began probing in earnest, and then an image was projected. In the image, they saw 300 light points approaching their position. Rorschach, they are faster than us, Babita said anxiously. The group of people in front of them are all stellar level 9th level mentalists with flying telekinesis weapons. Rorschach looked at the 300 light spots on the projection. These light spots were divided into 6 directions, almost blocking the directions in which they could escape. Now Rorschach and the others are like turtles in a urn with nowhere to escape. Brother, Melissa, Luo Xia suddenly stretched out his hand to Luo Feng and shouted, "Let's hold hands with each other. I'll take you away." Luo Feng did not hesitate and immediately held Luo Xia's hand. Over there, Melissa also held Luo Feng's hand, then Aogu's hand, and finally Aogu held Tai Nanhe's hand. Field. Buzz. The field expands. Developing the field to the 5th level can not only accelerate oneself, but also help others accelerate. Degree. Double strengthening talent is activated. Golden mysterious patterns appeared all over Rorschach's body, making him look extremely charming. Kamikaze legs. The power of the original law of wind. 32 times the speed burst. Boom. The space was slightly distorted when Rorschach moved. Luo Feng only felt a huge pulling force on his hand. For a moment, he felt that his hand was about to be broken. Then he saw that the world turned into a blur of gray. Melissa and others felt similar to Luo Feng. Fortunately, they are all star level, otherwise Rorschach's high-speed movement at this time would definitely make them physically uncomfortable and vomit them out. In less than a second, Luo Xia saw a group of 9th level star level people surrounding him. In the gray field, Rorschach could clearly see the changes in everyone's eyes. They seemed to be surprised by the charging actions of the 5 Rorschachs. However, before they could react, Luo Xia, who was running at full speed, had already led Luo Feng and the others into the siege team of only 50 people. From Luo Feng and Melissa's perspective, they could not see what was happening at all. They could only see bright red colors beginning to infect the blurry gray image. Aha! The red mixed copper mother plated with silver alloy followed Rorschach into the crowd, just like a high-speed train running at extreme speed into the crowd of ordinary people. Those trainee mercenaries of the 9th level of the star level didn't even react before the red mixed bronze mother had already pierced their heads. In the scene where blood and brains were slowly sputtering out, Rorschach even had time to use his telepathy to put away the telepathy weapons and space rings carried by these mercenaries. Next. In the astonished sight of the surviving 9th level astral level trainee mercenaries, Luo Xia was like a black-purple lightning, leading Luo Feng and the others, rushing through the siege of this group of people, and dodging to the far distance. The more than 39th level stars who survived did not react at all to catch up. When they realized this, they looked at the direction where Rorschach had escaped, and there was no trace of him. Just now, what was that just now? One of the survivors in the team looked at his teammates who fell like dumplings from the sky and asked blankly. No one answered his question. Because none of them who survived could see Rorschach's movements clearly. They just knew that in less than a second, a black-purple lightning suddenly flew in front of the team. This lightning rushed into the crowd before they had time to react, and then killed more than 10 of them in less than a thousandth of a second, and then quickly fled away. This group of people stayed where they were, looking at their dead companions whose heads were shot, and their hearts were full of horror. If they're not lucky enough, they can become one of them. Just, what happened? Soon, people from the other 5 directions also gathered. What's going on? A young man wearing a silver battle suit with a cold face looked at this group of more than 30 men. How could you let 5 of them kill more than 10 of you and still run away? Captain, we have no idea what happened. It's too weird. One of the surviving men said with fear on his face. The cold young man with purple lips frowned when he heard this, and said coldly, "The intelligent optical computer shows that the strongest of the 5 opponents are only 2 ninth-level stars, and the remaining 3 are second-level stars. Level 4, Level 6, how could you not react?" The surviving subordinate trembled and said, "Captain, what we said is true. Look, this is the image of what happened at that time." He projected a picture with the auxiliary light brain on his hand. In the universe, every auxiliary optical brain has the function of battlefield recording. There was nothing strange in the projected picture, but the next moment, in the view of the owner of the video, the heads of the surrounding companions suddenly exploded, and blood and brains splashed everywhere. The young man in silver armor frowned and said, "Slow it down 100 times." The projection replayed, slowed down 100 times. In the slow-motion footage, a black-purple lightning was vaguely seen. "Slow it down 1,000 times," the young man ordered again. The projection was also slowed down 1,000 times and played again. This time, everyone finally saw a blurry figure appearing in the recorded picture. This vague figure seemed to be pulling a few people. Before anyone could react, he rushed into the crowd and used a silver telepathy weapon to kill everyone in the way with headshots. The young man frowned deeply, a trace of shock and horror appeared on his cold face. "Domain, the power of the original law, where did this monster come from?" He, a third-level astral-level person, could see the power used by Rorschach, not to mention his subordinates who were at the 9th-level astral level. More than 200 men looked at the young man in the silver suit. One man stepped forward and asked, "Captain, do we still want to pursue him?" Chasing a piece of shit." The young man glanced at this subordinate and said, "Forget it, there are only 5 of them, and they probably don't have many cosmic crystals on them. Let's go back and continue hunting others on the grassland." He didn't talk about revenge for his men. The main thing is that if the opponent has such speed, if they want to take revenge, they can kill and run away. At that time, many subordinates will be lost. Only a dozen or so 9th-level star-level subordinates died. Join other subordinates for them. It's really not worth it. Yes, the men took the order, divided into several teams, and continued to lurk on the grassland. On the other side, Luoxia rushed into a forest in one breath and lay miserably on the ground. Next to him, Luo Feng and the others were not much better. "The hand is broken." Luo Feng reset the broken hand and shook his head with a smile. Melissa and the others, like Luo Feng, had their hands broken. Only Rorschach, despite exploding at such terrifying speed, was still fine. After all, before the burst of speed, he had twice the strengthening talent. This talent can directly double his physical fitness. Moreover, his current life gene is still 11 times that of ordinary life. His body could fully withstand such an explosion of speed and power. But Luo Feng and Melissa were in trouble. While moving at high speed, their hands were torn off. Fortunately, they were protected by suits, so their skin and muscles were not torn, otherwise it would have been even worse. "Haha, we just got another space ring from those who surrounded us. It contains more than 6,000 square meters of cosmic crystals." Rorschach was counting his loot at this time. When he passed by among that group of people, he got a lot of trophies, including space rings and several telepathy weapons. These telepathy weapons can be sold for a lot of money. "Xiao Xia, do you still have the strength?" Luo Feng said with a smile. "You should rest for a while first." He was a little surprised. After all, if he had exploded with such speed, he would probably be lying on the ground now, unable to move. "Not bad." Luoxia nodded with a smile. This is the benefit brought by the 11 times life gene. Although the burst of speed just now consumed a lot of physical strength and original force, at this time, after saying a few words, his physical strength and original force had recovered a lot. Aogu looked at Luoxia and said with some shame, "I feel that the 3 of us not only failed to help the master, but also became a burden to the master." Alas. Luo Xia looked at Aogu and said with a smile, anyway, without you, others would only be more crazy to trouble us. If Luo Xia and his team didn't have Aogu and Tainan He, two strong men of the 9th level of the stellar level, they would be in trouble. It will definitely attract more peeps. But with Aogu and Tainan He, when other people see that they are at the 9th level of the stellar level, even if they want to rob and kill them, they will feel a lot of fear in their hearts. So even though Aogu and Tainan He didn't fight much after joining, their role is really great. Rest for a while, let's continue to the core area. Luo Feng said with a smile. Melissa and the others nodded, sat down on the side, and adjusted their breathing. Soon after, Rorschach and the others rested and set off again. This time Rorschach and the others did not leave from the grassland, but from the forest to the core area. There are many adventurers in this forest. But according to Babata's instructions, Rorschach and the others were still able to bypass those adventurer teams with hundreds of people. I don't know how many hours I left. The light in the sky has dimmed and it is about to enter the night. Rorschach and the others continued to move forward cautiously. If night came, it would be easier for them to move. At the same time, 120 kilometers away, at the top of a big tree, there were 3 figures floating and hiding in the leaves. They were holding telescopes and scanning around. Captain, suddenly, one of them shouted to a figure below using force sound transmission. Under this big tree, 12 people are resting. One of them, a green-skinned man wearing a dark alloy battle suit and carrying a giant axe, raised his head and looked into the leaves. Is there anything going on? The man said, well, there are 5 prey in total. Oh. The green-skinned man flew into the canopy of the tree, took the telescope from the investigators, and looked at the direction of Rorschach and the others under the instructions of the investigators. I saw 5 people looming in the dense woods 120 kilometers away. Luo Xia, who was advancing, suddenly frowned and looked towards the 9 o'clock direction. He vaguely sensed a kind of prying eyes. The green-skinned man who was looking at Luo Xia in the canopy was slightly startled. What a keen perception. The investigator frowned and said, Captain, have we been discovered? How is that possible? The green-skinned man smiled. The distance between us is more than 100 kilometers. Unless the other party is a strong man above the universe level, it is impossible for the naked eye to detect us. He said, jumped down from the tree canopy, called to his teammates, and said, let's go. Get ready to take action. The team members resting under the tree immediately stood up, and one of them asked, Captain, how strong is the prey? Don't worry, there are only 5 of them, and their strength is not much higher. The green-skinned burly man said with a smile. When the team members heard this, they all showed excited smiles. Let's go. Make less noise. Don't let the 5 fat sheep discover us. Once they escape, it will be very difficult for us to find them. This group of people began to kill in the direction of Rorschach and the others. Be careful. Quick, there are still 20 kilometers. 10 kilometers. On the other side, Luo Xia said to Luo Feng and the others, brother, I feel like we are being watched. What did Babata say? Luo Feng asked. Babata replied, my detectors have not detected any threatening life. The other party should be using something like a telescope to detect us from a distance of 20,000 meters, Rorschach said. Luo Feng frowned, do you want to run? We still don't know who the prey is. Luo Xia smiled slightly. As soon as he finished speaking, Babata shouted, here comes someone. There are 15 people on the other side, including 13 stellar 9th level masters. Luo Feng raised his eyebrows, there are only 15 people? Then there is really no need to escape. Several people looked at each other, and the next moment, Melissa's mental power began to spread around. Buzz. When the green-skinned strong man led his team members to rush near Rorschach and the others, They were instantly disturbed by Melissa's mental power and fell into an illusion for a moment. You must know that as a member of the Phantom Tail lineage of the Spirit Fox clan, Melissa is the most skilled mentalist in illusions. Even though she is currently at the 4th level of the stellar level, the illusions she casts can even hit the cosmic level powerhouse. Trick. And when the green-skinned brawny man and the others fell into the illusion, Luoxia had already controlled the silver-plated red mixed copper mother to fly out. Puff puff puff. Amidst a series of headshots, these adventurers who were hunting others fell to the ground and became Rorschach's prey. Clean the battlefield, Luo Feng said with a smile. Aogu and the others immediately went up to clean up the battlefield. After a while, Tainan he said, Master, their team has a total of more than 8,000 cubes of cosmic crystals. More than 8,000 cubic meters of cosmic crystals. I'm afraid many of them were obtained by them from robbery and killing, Luo Feng said with a smile, and collected all the cosmic crystals without hesitation. These cosmic crystals, plus the cosmic crystals they had obtained along the way, now have reached more than 190,000 cubic meters. 190,000 cubic meters of cosmic crystals, that is nearly 800 billion dry witch coins. This is already a huge sum of money. Luoxia smiled and said, now I understand why the teacher's account is a 5-star customer of the Universe Galaxy Bank. The world of the World Master is so rich, so shouldn't the immortal level strong be even richer? Babata snorted proudly, of course. Your current wealth is far from what the Master left you. Luo Feng smiled and said, even if we don't get the treasure in the world, we can easily break through to the universe level with these cosmic crystals. Luoxia nodded and smiled, but if we don't fight for this treasure, we will regret it in the future. As the saying goes, if you don't take what God gives, you will suffer the consequences, if you don't welcome the time, you will suffer the consequences. Is this what Kuai Tong said to Han Xian in the Book of Han? Luo Feng said with a smile. Yes. Luoxia smiled, and the meaning of this sentence is, if you don't accept what God gives, you will be punished, if you don't act when the time comes, you will suffer disaster. Encourage people to seize the opportunity, take responsibility, do what you should do, and don't hesitate. The power of the ancestors may not be as strong as Luoxia and Luo Feng, but their thoughts are brilliant and great. It is worth Luoxia and Luo Feng to learn and comprehend. Sorry, I am late. My hands are too cold in winter, so I type slowly. Swallowed Star, my understanding is beyond belief. Author, Bo Yun Song. Chapter 147. The core area of the realm within the realm is a beautiful grassland. The ground is covered with strange and low flowers and plants. These flowers and plants are about 10 centimeters high and very flat, as if someone is doing gardener work on this plain every day. But who would be bored enough to do such a thing? This grassland is not small. The area may be dozens of times larger than any prairie on Earth. As Rorschach and the others approached, they saw corpses lying on the ground, some with decapitated heads, some with ruptured intestines, or half of their bodies missing. Oh my God, how many people died here? The further I walked, the less likely I was to put my foot down. There were corpses everywhere. Some stories and history books recorded rivers of blood and mountains of corpses, all of which were now displayed in front of Luoxia and Luo Feng. This is the core area, the place with the most cosmic crystals, and of course the place with the craziest competition. Looking at the corpses everywhere, Rorschach seemed to see a bloody future, where people died for wealth and birds died for food. This principle is the same whether on Earth or in this vast universe. When the adventurers organized by those forces come in again, the Earth here will probably be stained with blood. Rorschach said solemnly. The 5 of them moved forward cautiously. To be honest, it is very irrational to fight with people in this core area, so fights that can be avoided should be avoided as much as possible. More than an hour later, Luo Xia suddenly led Luo Feng and the others into a large pit full of corpses and blood. Someone is coming. As soon as his teleportation message came out, a stream of light flew over his head. After these adventurers turned into streams of light flew by, Rorschach and the others jumped out of the pit. There's movement over there. Tainan, he said suddenly. Rorschach listened carefully, and the wind in the world brought him a slight sound. He pointed in the direction and said, "Over there, someone seems to be talking." "Let's go over and take a look," Luo Feng said. "What is the situation in this core area now?" "They have no idea. If you can get some information from other people's words, that would be good too." After walking for almost 100 or 200 kilometers, I finally heard the voice of the speaker clearly. There were many people standing around the speaker. There were more than 1,000 people looming in the darkness. Just listen to the speaker shout, "Fellow adventurers. One world can make the universe-level powerhouses and domain lords jealous. This world within a world is 10 times rarer than one world. 100 times more precious. So now on Kanglan Star, at the exit of the Thunder World, a large number of cosmic level, domain lord level, and even great world lord level experts have arrived. Strong men have arrived from the 2 major holy places, the 4 major organizations, and the 16 major families in our Black Dragon Mountain Star region. The treasures of the world within the world are destined to be obtained by our Black Dragon Mountain Star region. So the major organizational forces have long ago agreed that if the adventurers are not from our Black Dragon Mountain Star Domain organization forces, they will be arrested immediately once they leave the Thunder World. The sound in the distance was very loud, rolling through the world like thunder, spreading hundreds of kilometers. What he said, Babata had already received part of the information from the virtual universe. But when they heard that they would be arrested if they went out, Luo Feng and others looked very ugly. The man continued to shout. "No matter how many cosmic crystals you get, or even some special treasures. No. As long as they are not from our Black Dragon Mountain Star Territory organization, they will all be arrested. You are just working blindly now. However, our Black Dragon Mountain Star region is not so unkind. Now, we will give you a chance. As long as you join our Belong City and temporarily become our external members. We, Belong City, guarantee with our reputation that when you leave the Thunder World and return to Kanglan Star, you will also be protected by our Belong City. With our protection, you will not be arrested. As for the cosmic crystal you obtained before, no one will plunder it. All you need to do is join us. Help us in Belong City and get the treasure." In addition to this person shouting, people from other organizations are also shouting. "As long as you join our Behu Tower, join temporarily, you will not have to worry about your safety. No one will ask you for the cosmic crystals you get. As long as you listen to our orders from Behu Tower and help us win the treasure. As long as you join my Black Cloud Club." Various organizational forces are recruiting people. These sounds roll across the grassland, sending invitations to idle adventurers lurking in the darkness. Sure enough, the treasure of Lord Kabu is much more important than any cosmic crystal, Luo Feng said. In order to save their lives and save their own cosmic crystals, those idle adventurers will definitely seek refuge in these organizations. Fortunately, we contacted a person, early territory lord. You can act here in his name. Luo Xia touched his chin. Lord Minjiao seems to be from 3 Axe Mountains, but I didn't hear the shouts from 3 Axe Mountains. Could it be that they don't need adventurers? Babata said at this time, it's not that there is no need, but there are too few people in 3 Axe Mountains. Their organization does not train new people, so there are very few people in 3 Axe Mountains who entered the world this time, and they cannot form a force. Luo Feng was stunned. If you don't train new people, should you directly invite those who have become strong? This would be a problem. Those members who are invited to join 3 Axe Mountains are probably not very loyal to this organization, right? Babata said, There are pros and cons. At least the conditions and regulations of 3-Axe Mountains are relatively free compared to other organizations and forces. So, Luo Xia looked at Luo Feng and said, the situation is very clear now. It is the factions in the Black Dragon Mountain Star region that are fighting. Judging from the content of their shouts, they should have found the location of the treasure position, but due to mutual restraint, they now dare not act rashly, so they need to recruit idle adventurers. Brother, which camp should we join? He asked. Luo Feng thought for a while and said, actually, no matter which camp is the same to us, let's choose the one closest to us to join. The one closest to us. Luo Feng glanced around and said, the camp in Belong City is the closest. Luo Feng nodded, then join Belong City. After the two brothers made their decision, they immediately flew towards the direction of Belong City. Who is it? As soon as they approached the area where Belong City was located, a person flew up and stopped in front of Luo Xia and the others. We are here to join Belong City. Luo Feng stepped forward and said. The man looked at Luo Xia and the others, looked at the auxiliary optical brain on his arm, nodded and said, no problem, you can go inside. Luo Feng and the others then entered the Belong City camp. Just join that phalanx. Good. Under the guidance of that person, Rorschach and the others joined a phalanx of less than 100 people. Brother, you also just joined Belong City. As soon as Rorschach and the others entered the square formation, a man with horns on his forehead approached and asked. This man's body shape is similar to that of an earthling, except that he has a horn on his head. Luo Feng first glanced at the opponent's horns, and then said with a smile, yes, if we don't join these camps now, we may not be able to get out of this world alive. The man with the horn on his forehead nodded, isn't it? But to be honest, if we join these camps, our chances of survival are probably not very great. Luo Feng's expression changed and he asked, how do you say this? The man with the horn on his forehead said, obviously, the phalanx that we people joined is far away from the core phalanx of Belong City. They obviously use us as cannon fodder. But cannon fodder will be cannon fodder halfway through. The man resigned himself to his fate, it's better than no way to survive. If you can survive, you can live your whole life without worrying about food and drink. I heard what my brother said, are the major camps about to start a war? Luo Feng asked again. Yes. The location of the treasure has been discovered. Now as long as the manpower recruitment is about the same, the real fight will begin. Don't look at the calm situation now, it is just the calm before the storm. Have you determined the location of the treasure? Yes, you came late, and it's late at night, so you can't see it. When tomorrow, you look towards the core area of the realm within the realm, you will see a castle on the grassland. Castle? Yes. There is nothing else in the world within the world, but there is a castle in the core area. Everyone thinks that the treasure left by the Lord of Kabu is definitely in that castle. Luo Xia and the others nodded secretly after hearing this. Luo Feng sighed, it seems that a war is really going to start. Yes, the one-horned man nodded, we are in a square formation. When the time comes to fight, we need to help each other more. That's natural. During the day the next day, Rorschach and the others saw the castle in the core area. It was a dark blue castle that looked majestic, like a sapphire, eye-catching. Luo Feng said, there are treasures hidden in this castle, but the camps in the core area dare not act rashly, because if they do, they may face attacks from other camps and may be picked up by a large number of free adventurers. Luo Xia nodded, the adventurers from the outside world are about to come in. If this stalemate continues, the situation will only get worse. Before long, someone may lose their temper and take the lead. Rorschach was right. On the third day after they joined Belong City, something happened. I saw black shadows flying from a distance, and then a loud sound rang out between heaven and earth. Black Dragon Mountain, Sargson pays homage to His Highness the Ninth Prince. Meet His Highness the Ninth Prince. In the surprised eyes of Luo Feng and others, these adventurers suddenly appeared and bowed to a fair-skinned and handsome young man. The young man stood in mid-air, his eyes like lightning, and shouted to the 5 major camp personnel below, "I, Brolin, the Ninth Prince of the Empire, want to seize the treasure here. Anyone who stands in my way will die." Quiet, everyone is quiet. Many people looked at the Ninth Prince Brolin in mid-air and narrowed their eyes slightly. "Did you think you were Broly?" Luo Xia secretly muttered, pretending like this will kill people. "It was too cold in the morning and I didn't get up. I'll start with 3,000 words and make up the rest at night." Swallowed Star, my understanding is beyond belief. Author, Bo Yun Song. Chapter 148. On the plain, everyone was looking at the Ninth Prince Brolin standing in the air. At this time, a man from Behu Tower suddenly flew up, looked at Brolin and said, "Your Highness, the treasure of this world within the world, you want to swallow it all by yourself, isn't it too? Sneak." Before the man finished speaking, a dazzling white light suddenly shot out, piercing through the burly and strong young man, and his head instantly turned into nothingness. Everyone was stunned. Everyone looked at the headless body falling from the sky, and then looked at the Ninth Prince. Everyone was stunned, and then they were shocked. "Too fast," Luo Feng said in a low voice. The laser weapon just now seemed to have no charging time, and it exploded in an instant. "It's terrible, even for me." Luo Xia looked solemn. "Without opening the field, I may not be able to completely avoid it." In the sky, behind the Ninth Prince Brolin, 9 bodyguards stood. In the hands of these 9 people, they all held laser guns about 3 meters long and about 30 centimeters in diameter. Brolin had a calm expression, with a hint of smile on his lips. "Let me introduce it to you. This is a C2 level laser gun. There are 9 of them, the latest model, and I just got it not long ago. As for the power..." He glanced at the leaders of the major camps, and smiled coldly. "It's not very powerful, it can just take away a strong man of the 2nd level of the universe with one shot." Brolin spread his hands, looking innocent. "This time I came to the Thunder World to participate in the apprenticeship assessment. For safety, I brought a few, but I didn't expect to encounter something like the world within the world." He looked down at everyone, like a god looking down at the common people. "Now, does anyone object to what I said just now?" Everyone was a little dumbfounded. Weapons above sea level are basically unavailable. Because from sea level up, they are restricted weapons, and it is impossible to buy them without any means and channels. And even if you buy them, they are sky-high prices. A C2 level laser gun is not much cheaper than a slave of the 2nd level of the universe. Very good, it seems that no one objects, and they all cooperate with me, the laser gun in their hands. Brolin had a smug smile on his face, and he swooped down with his men and flew towards the castle. Although the people in other camps were a little hesitant, they still followed. Rorschach and his men followed Belongchange. In the team, Luo Feng said helplessly, "This Ninth Prince has 9 C2 level laser guns, which is basically invincible here. It seems that the treasure will really be monopolized by him. And with his identity, even if he goes out from here, those domain masters and realm masters will probably give him face and will not rob his treasure." Rorschach narrowed his eyes and said, "Maybe there will be a counterattack." While speaking, the Ninth Prince Brolin had brought people to the front of the dark blue castle. He stretched out his hands slightly, and the more than 600 people following him stopped. Immediately afterwards, Brolin and his 9 bodyguards stepped forward and walked towards the castle step by step under the gaze of tens of thousands of people. "Sambai, open the castle for me." Brolin instructed a bodyguard to go forward and open the castle. No one knew what was behind the castle, or what dangers might be there. People like Brolin would naturally not let themselves go to danger. Of course, he would instruct his bodyguards to open the door. The bodyguard who was instructed was wrapped in an alloy battlesuit. He stepped forward carefully, and under the gaze of everyone, he walked step by step towards the castle gate that might have stood here for tens of millions of years. Sambai was not far from the gate. In just a few steps, he had arrived at the gate of the castle. He put his hands on the heavy gate. At this moment, everyone was staring at Sambai to open the gate. Brolin's expression was particularly excited. As long as the gate was opened, all the treasures in this world would be his. As Sambai exerted his strength, the gate trembled slightly, and all kinds of dust fell from the gate. However, in the next second, electric snakes suddenly jumped out from all parts of the castle, and a large amount of lightning surrounded the entire castle. The bodyguard who pushed the gate had almost no time to react, and was instantly entangled by lightning. He didn't even have time to scream. The body of the 9th level star was entangled by lightning and turned into ashes and dissipated with the wind. Snap! The alloy battlesuit that was red and hot from the electricity fell to the ground. Everyone looked at the scene in astonishment. This. Brolin was sweating profusely, and his figure flashed almost subconsciously, retreating behind the bodyguards. These thunders. After Brolin returned to the bodyguards, he felt much more relaxed. He looked at the dark blue castle entangled by a large amount of thunder, frowned and said, "Is it set up to prevent others from getting the treasure?" Seeing the process of Sambai being melted by thunder, it is obvious that the 9th level star cannot withstand these terrible thunders at all. However, the treasure of the Kabu Realm Lord is inside the castle. How can we avoid these thunders and enter the castle now? A green-haired woman said to Brolin. Your Highness, it will take several days for the adventuring army outside to reach the world within the world. We have enough time. We have an absolute advantage here. Let's observe slowly. The treasure of this world within the world is definitely yours, Your Highness. Brolin did not answer the bodyguard's words, but just silently watched the large amount of thunder wrapped around the dark blue castle. These thunders were so terrifying that they were like electric snakes, wrapping around the castle and making the surrounding space slightly distorted by electricity. This is trouble. Luo Feng saw the scene from a distance and frowned slightly. If the thunder on the castle continues to exist, no one can enter. Just then. Click, click, click. The heavy castle door slowly opened. Brolin stared at the opened door. In his field of vision, nothing strange happened at the door. However, as the door opened, the thunder surrounding the castle slowly converged, as if it had been taken away by someone. Whoosh! Like a light show in a karaoke bar, rays of light shot out from the castle, illuminating the entire castle extremely brightly and dazzlingly. Then, a cheerful and loud voice came from the castle. Ha ha ha! Welcome to the realm within a realm. I have been waiting for this day for more than 10 million years. The bodyguards in front of Brolin were on alert. They carefully raised their laser guns and pointed them at the castle. As long as there is any movement in the direction of the castle that threatens Brolin, they will shoot immediately. Brolin frowned deeply as he listened to the news coming from the castle. An idea came to his mind. There might be something unexpected about monopolizing the treasure. As soon as this thought appeared, he felt extremely unhappy. Others were extremely surprised at this time. Having lived for tens of millions of years, is there still an immortal being in this castle? Some adventurers couldn't help but guess. Could it be that the Kabu Realm Master has been hiding here since he became immortal? Impossible. Is Kabu crazy or perverted? He can be in seclusion for tens of millions of years. If it's not Lord Kabu, who else could it be? Babata pouted and said, besides intelligent life, who else could it be? Luo Feng looked at Babata in surprise. You mean, there is an intelligent life like you in the castle? Yes, Babata nodded, but this intelligent life has endured tens of millions of years of loneliness, and may have gone crazy. Even if it is not crazy, its psychology is definitely abnormal. She reminded Luo Xia and Luo Feng, be careful, intelligent life that goes crazy is very scary. Luo Xia and Luo Feng nodded and looked towards the entrance of the castle. I saw the light on the castle converging one after another, and then condensed into a virtual figure. It was the image of a fat old man with a white beard. He was suspended in the air, squinting his eyes and looking at all the adventurers present. Little guys, do you come here to get the treasure of the world within the world? Yes, the master originally placed his treasure in the realm within the realm, and I was responsible for guarding it. Without waiting for the adventurer to answer, the old man with the white beard started talking to himself. Master has many treasures. Look. He stretched out his hand and a huge three-dimensional virtual projection suddenly appeared. I saw a large number of pictures of items on the projection. There are so many photos of various treasures that it's dazzling. In the center of the screen, there is the most eye-catching item, a crystal ball with strange colors. Inherited crystal ball. Brolin's eyes lit up and he stared at the crystal ball on the screen. It's a heritage crystal ball. In other camps, some people also shouted out. They all received guidance from the leaders of their own organizations and knew that this inheritance crystal ball contained the most precious inheritance of Lord Kabu, which was a set of spatial secrets. If the World Master can obtain this set of space secrets, he will have a great chance of being promoted to immortality. This is the main reason why the Realm Lords from the outside world send people into the realm within the realm. Lord Kabu's secret space technique is so precious. If Kabu Realm Master could survive back then, relying on that set of space secrets, he would definitely achieve immortality. Regardless of everyone's reaction, the old man with the white beard continued with a smile on his face. Master has many treasures. I carefully classified the treasures and found that there are 68 types of treasures, 312 pieces. This is my ranking list. 1 account, triple account, where a complete set of space secret technique inheritance crystal ball is deposited in the bank. 2. The owner's deposit bank account number. 3. Domain lord level blood potions, 1 portion. 4. 68 level 5 force weapon Skyfire wheel. Everyone stared at the ranking list carefully, looking at the treasures on it, trembling with excitement. Oh my god. The worst ones here are actually 5th level force weapons. As long as you can get a treasure, you can directly become the richest man in an ordinary galaxy after leaving. So many treasures. Crazy. Crazy. Is this the background of the Realm Lord? It's terrible. Many people whispered excitedly. Even Babata was shouting, this Realm Lord must have received some immortal legacy. Otherwise, a Realm Lord's net worth would not be so exaggerated. Rich. He is the richest Realm Lord I have ever seen. His net worth is comparable to some of the poorer ones are immortal. Over the castle, the old man with a white beard stretched out his hands and said with a kind smile, little guys, do you see clearly? This is the treasure left by my master. He leaned forward slightly and said in an extremely seductive tone, do you want to get them? If you want it, go find it. I put everything in, ahem. Luo Feng glanced at his brother speechlessly. It's been so many years, why are you still playing with the comic strips from before Nirvana? Let me tell you, One Piece is very good looking. Rorschach said with a smile. Luo Feng shook his head in confusion. After the Earth entered the Great Nirvana, due to the threat posed by monsters, almost everyone was thinking about how to improve weapons and equipment, personal strength, and entertainment. It was much less than the society before the Great Nirvana. People like Luo Feng and his generation have watched videos of various warriors since childhood. Comics and stuff are far away from them. Of course, the famous comics are still heard of. Want to get these babies? The old man with a white beard giggled, and the smile on his face became more kind, but also more creepy. While everyone held their breath, the old man with a white beard showed his big hands and shouted. You only need to use thunderstones to exchange. Every treasure here can be exchanged for thunderstones. Look, every treasure has a detailed price. As he finished speaking, the ranking page on the screen changed slightly. 1. A complete set of Space Secret Law Inheritance Crystal Ball Deposit Bank Accounts, triple accounts. Each account is worth 10 million thunderstones. If the 3 accounts are combined into one, the inherited crystal ball can be taken out from the first bank of the universe. 2. Master's Deposit Bank Account requires 8 million thunderstones. 3. Domain Lord level blood potions, 1 portion, each containing 3 million thunderstones. 9. Fruits of Life, 3, each with 800,000 thunderstones. 32 D6 class railguns, 3, 210,000 thunderstones each. 68 level 5 force weapon Heavenly Fire Wheel, 1 piece, 100,000 thunderstones each. Once the entire list appeared, everyone went crazy with excitement again. Such a clear price tag means that everyone here can get the treasures on the list as long as they have a thunderstone in their hands. But what is a thunderstone? I've never heard of thunderstone. Is it some kind of very precious stone? It's very valuable, isn't it? Maybe a powerful person above the realm lord has heard of it? Everyone was talking about it and wanted to know what the thunderstone was. Nowadays, even if this kind of stone is worthless in the outside world, it is worth thousands of gold here because it can be exchanged for various treasures. The old man with a white beard listened to everyone's discussion with a smile, and then said, "It seems that everyone is very confused about what the thunderstone is. Haha, this is the name I gave myself. This kind of stone can only be found in this world. It's not something special. Valuable stones." He moved his hand, and a picture of the thunderstone immediately appeared on the screen, along with a large amount of detailed introduction. Luo Feng and the others were dumbfounded when they saw the photo of the thunderstone. "Master, you..." Melissa couldn't help but look at Rorschach with a look of surprise on her face. Rorschach smiled and said, "As I said, everything has its own reason and value for existence." Babata exclaimed crazily in the wristband, "Rorschach, you are a genius. The genius among geniuses. Everything has a value and a reason for its existence. It's so right. It's so right. Ha ha ha." On their way to the core area, they picked up a lot of thunderstones. Now there are more than 2.1 million thunderstones in Babata's storage space. Although so many thunderstones cannot be exchanged for the first 3 treasures. But the treasures in the back are all redeemable. Over there, the white-bearded old man was very considerate and told everyone, "The energy level of these thunderstones is very low, and your energy tester may not be able to detect it. To make it easier for you, I will give you the distribution of thunderstones. The area is marked." As he spoke, he waved his hand, and a map projection appeared in the sky. This is a simplified map of the realm within the realm. It can be divided into 26 areas based on rough divisions such as mountains, swamps, deserts, etc. The thunderstones are scattered in these 26 areas. Go find them. You can kill each other for thunderstones, and I won't care. As long as you have enough thunderstones, you can exchange them with me for any treasure you want. The white-bearded old man's smile looked a little ferocious. "Want to get the treasure? Then go find the thunderstone. I'll be waiting for you in the castle." After saying that, the old man's image disappeared directly from the sky above the castle. Brolin stared blankly as the old man's image disappeared. After a while, he cursed with an extremely ugly look on his face. "Grass. I thought I could definitely monopolize the treasures here." As a result, the intelligent life left behind by Kabu Realm Lord actually did something like this. This made all his previous efforts in vain. As for why you didn't force your way into the castle and go find the old man to steal the treasure? Do you think those thunders in the castle are just decorations? Brolin is sure that if anyone dares not to play according to the old man's tricks, Thunder will come to the world and make the guy who wants to rob him become the ashes of thunder. After the white-bearded old man disappeared, everyone began to take action and went to various areas to find the Thunderstone. In the Belong City camp, Aogu used telepathy to ask, "Master, we have more than 2 million Thunderstones with us now, do we still need to find them?" Luo Feng said, "Of course we have to look for it. As the saying goes, if we dare to go to the castle to redeem treasures now, we will definitely be targeted by everyone here. Only when the water is mixed, can we redeem the best time for treasure. And if we find more Thunderstones, we can exchange them for more good things." Luo Xia said, "If those 5th level weapons are sold outside, the price will be very high. Now that we are here, we can only pay a few, it's just manpower, this is a sure profit business." Babata laughed loudly, "Rorschach is right. One of those 5th level weapons can be exchanged for hundreds of thousands of planets in the outside world." Luo Feng sent another message and said, "We have to find an opportunity to break away from the big team." When I just spoke, many free adventurers in the Belong City camp had withdrawn midway, and the leaders had no time to stop them. Nowadays, these free adventurers have their own little ideas. After all, as long as you have the Thunderstone, the opportunity to exchange for treasure is right in front of you. If you don't give it a try, you will feel regretful when you think about what happened today. After following the large group for a while, Luo Xia and the other 5 quietly left the group when they passed a forest. "Babata, start planning the route. We won't have to go to the places we passed before. Let's go look for the places we haven't been before." In the forest, Rorschach said to Babata while flying. Babata nodded, and with a swipe of his hand, a virtual map with marked routes was immediately projected in front of Rorschach. "Follow this route. The route I planned is combined with the distribution map given by that crazy old man. If you go in this direction, there will be far fewer people, and the number of Thunderstones will also be considerable." "Okay." Soon after, Rorschach and the others came to an area. There were not many people in this area, but according to Babata's scan, there were 132,010 Thunderstones in this area. Rorschach and the others started digging like crazy. He and his eldest brother Luo Feng both have Moyunvine and can dig out these Thunderstones very quickly. After digging out the Thunderstones in this area, they rushed to the next area without stopping. In this way, Rorschach and the others were digging for Thunderstones while avoiding other people in the realm within the realm. On this day, Rorschach and the others came to a rolling mountain range. Under Babata's scan, there were many Thunderstones in this area, but not long after they dug, a large wave of adventurers flew over. Rorschach and the others hurriedly hid. They didn't dare to speak out until this group of adventurers flew overhead. "Tainan," he said, "Master, there were thousands of adventurers who flew over just now. It seems that the adventurers from the outside world have arrived in the realm within the realm." Rorschach narrowed his eyes when he heard this and asked Babata, "Babata, how many Thunderstones do we have now?" Babata said, "More than 2.9 million. I think we can go back and exchange for treasures," Luo Xia said. "Otherwise, if we go back too late, all the good things will be exchanged for us." "Well, let's go back." With the arrival of the outside army, many people must have started to enter the castle to exchange. Luo Feng nodded and said. They stopped looking for the Thunderstone and flew directly to the castle area in the core area. Along the way, Rorschach and the others discovered that with the arrival of more than 2 million troops, the world within the world was full of people. In many of the marked areas, Thunderstones are being excavated. There are still many people fighting for the Thunderstone. Soon, Rorschach and the others returned to the core area and saw the dark blue castle. Trouble. Luo Feng looked at the many stellar adventurers surrounding the castle with a solemn expression. These guys have surrounded the castle. It seems they don't intend to let people who are not part of their organization go in to exchange treasures. Rorschach's eyes flickered, looking at the 5 major camps surrounding the core castle, with a hint of helplessness on his face. He thought for a while and said to Luo Feng and the others, "Brother, I'm going to find Master Minjiao." Okay, Luo Feng nodded and watched Luo Xia's consciousness sink into the virtual universe. Entering the virtual universe, Luo Xia immediately sent a call request to Mingyu. The call was quickly connected. Mingyu valued Luo Xia very much. After answering the phone, he smiled and said, "Luo Xia, did you encounter anything in the world within the world?" "That's it?" Luo Xia bowed slightly to show respect, and then said, "I see now that the castle is surrounded by a large number of adventurers. Is this the result of discussions between the major organizations in the Black Dragon Mountain Star territory?" Mingyu nodded, "You are right, surrounding the castle is indeed a decision made by major organizations after discussion. They do not want anyone who is not from their organization to enter the castle to exchange treasures." Rorschach frowned. Mingyu said, "But you are different. I have already sent the information about you and your elder brother to the person in charge of the coalition forces. As long as you tell me my name, you can go in directly." "Thank you, sir," Luo Xia thanked him with a bow. Mingyu looked at Luo Xia and said, "Looking at you, are you going to enter the castle? How much will you gain?" Luo Xia shook his head, "Sir, you also know that once this army of more than 2 million enters the realm within the realm, a 5-person team like my brother and I will have no room to struggle." "That's right." Mingyu nodded slightly, looked at Luo Xia and said, "But don't be discouraged. Sometimes it is difficult for an individual to fight against the general trend." "Yes, Sir," Luo Xia said with a loyal look, "my eldest brother and I will work hard. We will not let Master Minjiao down. Even if I risk my life, I will bring back the treasure for you." "Ha ha. Having this heart is enough," Mingyu laughed, "don't worry, as long as you can get me the treasure, I will not treat you badly." "Thank you, sir." The communication was hung up. Rorschach secretly shook his head, looked at the sky of the virtual universe, and whispered in his heart, "Still have to become stronger. What the hell? Next time, let someone lick me." A realm within a realm, Rorschach's consciousness returns to his body. Luo Feng saw Luo Xia open his eyes and asked, "How is it?" "Master Minjiao said that he has reported our information to the head of the coalition forces in the world within the world. We will go in directly in his name and no one will stop us," Rorschach said. Luo Feng nodded, "Okay, let's go directly there." The 5 flew towards the coalition forces. "Stop." As soon as he arrived at the gate of the camp, he was stopped. "We are under the command of Lord Minjiao of 3 Axe Mountains," Luo Xia stepped forward and said. "Oh." The strong man who stopped Rorschach and the others narrowed his eyes, and his arm made a clicking sound. Then, a projection appeared, with the information and portraits of the 5 Rorschachs floating on it. He found that the information could be matched, and immediately smiled and said, "Haha, it turns out they are brothers from 3 Axe Mountains. The men and horses of 3 Axe Mountains are not far from here. The 5 of you can find them by just asking a few people." "Thank you." Luo Xia thanked him and entered the coalition camp with his eldest brother Luo Feng. "Hey, brother," the man called out to Luo Xia and the others from behind, "do you have thunderstones for sale? We are willing to pay the price of 1 thunderstone for 10 cubic meters of cosmic crystals." Luo Xia turned around and said with a smile, "Sorry, my master prohibits buying and selling. Anyway, your adults don't know how many thunderstones you have obtained. Why not sell some of them and exchange them for some cosmic crystals? Then, I'll think about it and come back to you later." With that said, Luo Xia, Luo Feng and the others did not go back to the area where 3 Axe Mountains were located. In the following time, Rorschach was not in a hurry to go to the castle to exchange treasures, but kept observing. He found that many people often entered the castle, as if they were going to exchange treasures. This should be a smoke bomb to prevent others from knowing who exchanged the treasure. Luo Feng said. After saying that, he looked at Rorschach and said, "Wait a minute, when we go into exchange, will we also use this method?" Luo Xia shook his head, "Brother, you and I are together. It doesn't make much sense to go in together. On the contrary, if I go in alone, it can also confuse the public." Luo Feng touched his chin, "That's right. When you go in later, what treasures are you going to exchange for?" Luo Xia narrowed his eyes and said through telepathy, "Exchange all the fruits of life first." Luo Feng was stunned, "Exchange for the life fruit? The life fruit is very powerful. Even a dying realm lord will fully recover after eating a life fruit, which is equivalent to a second life. Yes, after exchanging the life fruit, we will find a place to evolve the Moyun vine on our body." Luo Feng said, "I asked Babata, 2 life fruits are enough for you and my Moyun vine to evolve. Vine evolves to the cosmic level." Luo Feng reacted, "What do you mean? Let's evolve Moyun Deng to the cosmic level first, and then hunt other people who have thunder stones." Luo Xia said. Luo Feng grinned, "Ha, I like this plan." He, in the wristband, Babata also smiled very cutely, "I like this plan too." You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Swallowed Star, My Understanding is Beyond Belief. Author, Bo Yun Song. Chapter 149. Time passed by. Diamond suit, diamond suit, diamond suit. People often entered the dark blue castle. In the camp of the coalition forces, many spies watched these people, and they didn't know which people really exchanged treasures and which people were just confusing the audience. Rorschach changed the form of the black god suit. From the appearance, the alloy suit he was wearing now was basically the same as other people who entered the castle. If he covered his face, no one would guess who he was. Rorschach walked towards the castle step by step. Many people looked at him, secretly scrutinizing and guessing. Just as Rorschach entered the castle and prepared to exchange treasures, on the other side, Brolin, the 9th prince of the Black Dragon Mountain Empire, also received the Thunderstone found by his men. "Your Highness, this is the Thunderstone sent by the 2nd Brigade. They mined 2 areas, killed 3 teams, and got a total of 100,000 Thunderstones. 2.1 million. Brolin nodded and ordered, "Give the order to let the other teams send Thunderstones quickly. If you want to redeem the triple password of the Inheritance Crystal Ball, you need a full 30 million Thunderstones, and you still need a lot." "Yes, Your Highness." The subordinates respectfully accepted the order. Brolin turned his head slightly and looked in the direction of the castle, just in time to see Rorschach walking into the castle. He sneered, "Humph. A bunch of poor guys. They went to exchange treasures, but they all hid their heads and tails, and finally exchanged the worst ones." He stroked the space wristband handed over by his subordinates. "The bank account of the 2nd-ranked Thunder Realm Lord is not important. The most important and precious thing is only the set of inherited crystal balls containing the secret space method. It must be mine. It can only be mine." At this time, another subordinate rushed over, presented a space ring, and said, "This is the 1.68 million Thunderstones obtained by the 5th Battalion." Brolin's eyes lit up. 1.68 million? Good. He stood up and walked towards the castle. "Follow me to the castle. These Thunderstones are enough to exchange for a password." "Yes. 69shux. Com." The subordinates took the order and followed Brolin to the castle. He did not hide his identity at all, and walked in directly, not taking the other people in the coalition seriously at all. And Brolin also has such confidence. Because in this world within the world, most of the forces in the Holy Land Black Dragon Mountain absolutely support Brolin. In this army of over 2 million, Brolin can control more than 220,000 troops. After Luoxia entered the castle, he was immediately guided by the intelligent life to a cold room. What do you want to exchange, little guy? A low voice echoed in the room. Luoxia looked around and did not see the figure of the white-bearded old man. He blinked and said, "Of course, it is to exchange treasures. Do you have thunderstones?" The voice asked, and then without waiting for Luoxia to answer, he said to himself, "These days, many people have deliberately run in, but they don't have thunderstones to exchange treasures. Although I am happy that they come to talk to me, I am still a little unhappy after all this." Luoxia laughed, "Of course I have." He waved his hand slightly, and many thunderstones suddenly appeared in front of him, piled up as high as a person. "Very good." The voice fell, and then a ray of light condensed in front of Luoxia, revealing the figure of the white-bearded old man. He looked at Luoxia with a smile, and seemed very satisfied with the thunderstone Luoxia brought. "It's rare that there is someone who really comes to exchange treasures," the white-bearded old man said. Luoxia bowed slightly. "I don't know how to call you yet." "You can call me." The white-bearded old man narrowed his eyes. "Lord Wu." Luoxia nodded and asked curiously, "Hello, Lord Wu, I heard that you have spent tens of millions of years in this castle. What does it feel like to spend such a long time?" To be honest, if there is internet, mobile phones and computers, Luoxia feels that he should be able to stay alone in one place for a few years. But someone like Lord Wu is like being locked in a cage, enduring loneliness alone, with nothing. He may not be able to hold on for a day. Some people may ask, isn't this place connected to the virtual universe? How come Lord Wu, as an intelligent life, didn't enter the virtual universe? This, of course, Lord Wu has no account. As an intelligent life, if Master Wu wants to enter the virtual universe, he must rely on the account opened by Lord Cabu. Just like Babata. When she was on Earth, because Luoxia and Luo Feng did not have an account in the virtual universe, she could not enter the virtual universe. After Lord Cabu died, the account opened was cancelled, and Master Wu could not enter the virtual universe at all. What do you feel? Chaos and madness flashed in Master Wu's eyes, and his face suddenly became extremely hideous, as if he was about to turn into a demon. In the first tens of thousands of years, I could still remain calm, because at that time, I was not an intelligent life. But as I became an intelligent life, I became smarter, had emotions, and felt lonely. This place seems to be a cage. I am locked here. Loneliness makes me crazy. How much I want to die. But I can't die. Lord Wu looked at Luoxia with a ferocious face, his eyes widened. Do you know that feeling of wanting to die but not being able to die? Many people pursue immortality, but what if immortality becomes a kind of pain and torture? I'm crazy. His expression suddenly became calm again. It seemed like he was talking to Rorschach, or something unknown. I was so bored, so I classified the treasures left by the master over and over again. I created games for myself, and I was immersed in the games, but after a few thousand years, I got completely bored. I had absolutely no idea what to do. After becoming alive, I feel that life is not as good as I imagined. Did you know? During those boring and lonely years, I wandered on the grassland over and over again, counting every blade of grass and every grain of gravel on the grassland. Do you think the grass on the grassland is smooth? Ah, that was when I was bored and went out to rest. In the wrist space, Babata muttered, this old guy is really crazy. But I can empathize with him. During the 50,000 years of the Earth, if I hadn't been able to observe the development of the Earth civilization, I might also have gone crazy. Okay, Master Wu returned to his kind face. He looked at Luoxia with a smile and asked, little guy, I said something to you. How can I communicate with others after tens of millions of years? The scene just now scared you, right? Luo Xia shook his head, looked at Master Wu and said, no, just listening to Master Wu's description of loneliness makes me feel desperate. If I were replaced by you, I might not be able to stay sane now and have become a zombie. He looked at Master Wu and said with great praise, perhaps only intelligent beings like you can endure the terrible loneliness and torture, and still retain their sanity and thinking until now. Upon hearing this, Lord Wu narrowed his eyes slightly. He looked at Rorschach for a while and then said, now, shall we exchange the treasure? He waved his hand, and the projection of the ranking list appeared in front of Rorschach. What do you want to exchange for? Sorry, this chapter is 2,000 words long. The next chapter may be a little later. I was delayed by something during the day. I'm very sorry. Yunsong is sorry to everyone. Swallowed Star, my understanding is beyond belief. Author, Bo Yunsong. Chapter 150. Rorschach looked at the treasures on the list. Babita was watching. She pointed at Rorschach and said, Rorschach, this 5th level telekinesis weapon, the meteor sword, is very suitable for you. Luo Xia took a look and found that the number of thunderstones required for this 5th level telekinesis weapon was quite high, requiring 220,000 thunderstones. Following Babita's instructions, he said to Master Wu, Master Wu, I need 3 fruits of life, the 5th level telekinesis weapon meteor sword and the 5th level force weapon Qingfeng Dao. Master Wu was a little surprised and said, the price of 1 life fruit is 800,000 thunderstones, 3 of them are 2.4 million, the meteor sword is 220,000 thunderstones, and the Qingfeng sword is 200,000 thunderstones. He looked at Rorschach and continued, these treasures add up to 2.82 million thunderstones. You probably don't have a high status in the coalition. How did you get so many thunderstones? Luo Xia smiled slightly and did not answer, but said, Master Wu, do you want to ask this too? Just asking for fun. Lord Wu blinked and said with a smile, okay, since you want to exchange these, it's no problem, as long as you can get enough thunderstones. Luo Xia handed out a space wristband and said, Master Wu, there are 2.9 million thunderstones in it. I will choose a few more treasures. Can. Master Wu took the space wristband and nodded. So Rorschach selected several treasures with high cost performance based on Babita. These treasures only need to be exchanged for thunderstones here. But if you get it to the outside world, each treasure can be sold for tens of billions of witch coins. Here, this is the meteor sword. After putting away the thunderstone, Master Wu flipped his hand, and a huge golden sword immediately appeared in mid-air. Luo Xia made a visual inspection and found that the sword was at least 12 or 13 meters long and more than 2 meters wide. On the golden blade, there were 7 stars flowing, engraved with the secret pattern of the origin, and exuding waves of origin law fluctuations. Rorschach looked up, as if he saw a golden river of stars stretching across the sky, and the unparalleled sword energy penetrated the stars. The terrifying power of the original law made it difficult for him to breathe. Isn't this sword too big? Rorschach muttered. Babita said in the wrist guard, the blade of this sword can be reduced. I told you, this is the best weapon among 5th level telekinesis weapons. If you get the matching meteor sword the power it will explode will be even the weak and immortal strong will avoid its edge. So strong, Luo Xia was a little surprised. Babita folded his hands and hummed, of course. Let me tell you, if this meteor sword is taken to the outside world, even a powerful person at the level of a world lord will be willing to exchange half of his wealth with you. You can wait until you are promoted to world lord to use this meteor sword as your main weapon, Babita said, spreading his hands. Now, just put it away first. Take it out now, you will only be coveted and lose your life. Rorschach nodded, and with a thought, put the huge golden sword into the storage space. Lord Wu smiled and said, You are very popular with me. Since I exchanged the meteor sword, I will give you the matching meteor sword art. As he spoke, an auxiliary optical brain appeared in front of him. Luo Xia was stunned for a moment, then bowed and said, "Thank you, Master Wu." Master Wu waved his hand, "You are very good. Others entered the castle and only wanted to exchange treasures with me, but you, after listening to the old man, said a lot of nonsense. Here, this is the Qingfen knife." A green sword appeared. On this blue sword, there is a green wind lingering, and the secret patterns of the origin of the wind are engraved on the blade, exuding a terrifying atmosphere. Luo Xia's eyes suddenly lit up when he saw this long green knife. The reason why I exchanged this long sword is because of the secret pattern of the origin of wind engraved on it. Rorschach can understand the more profound origin laws of wind by comprehending these secret patterns of origin. He put away the Qingfen knife. Master Wu waved his hand again. "Next, there are 3 fruits of life." 3 strange translucent stone boxes emerged. In this stone box, you can vaguely see the shadow of green. Babata explained, "The fruit of life is an extremely miraculous fruit in the vast universe. They contain extremely rich power of life. You must know that the bodies of world lord level powerful people contain endless power and extremely rich vitality. Powerful. But no matter how much the world lord consumes or how injured he is, he can fully recover after taking one life fruit. For a world lord level powerhouse, possessing the life fruit is equivalent to having a second life." Rorschach muttered, "Isn't this just fairy beans?" He did not open it rashly, but waved his hand and put it into the space ring. Next, Master Wu took out other treasures exchanged by Luo Xia. After Luo Xia put away these treasures, he said to Master Wu, "Thank you, Master Wu. Haha, keep working hard and get more thunderstones. I have plenty of treasures for you to redeem." Lord Wu smiled and said to Rorschach. Luo Xia nodded, "Then Lord Wu, I'll leave now and see you next time." "Come to see me next time." The old man with the white beard was slightly stunned. He looked at Luo Xia's leaving figure and was stunned for a while. On the other side, 9th Prince Brolin also arrived at the castle. While Rorschach was exchanging the treasure, he was waiting in another room of the castle. Seeing Master Wu's delay in showing up, Brolin couldn't help but frown. Damn it, could it be that the person who came in just now can really redeem treasures? Thinking of this, he quickly sank into the virtual universe. Not long after, Brolin came to a huge city in the virtual universe. In the city, there are gorgeous and majestic palaces. Brolin appears on a throne in a purple palace and sends out a transmission. Not long after, a figure appeared in the hall. "Your Highness." Katalo. Brolin was high up, overlooking his bodyguards. "The guy we saw before who entered the castle before me may have exchanged a lot of treasures." "What?" Katalo was surprised. "In today's world within a world, can anyone get a large amount of thunderstones faster than them?" "I'm very sure," Brolin said with a cold face, "since I entered the castle, that intelligent life has not appeared and has not responded to my call. I am sure that he should be exchanging treasures for that kid." He looked down at Katalo with cold eyes. "So keep an eye on me, do you understand?" "Clear." "Very good." Brolin nodded with satisfaction and disappeared from the throne. Although he lost the opportunity to monopolize the treasure after the old man with white beard played the trick of exchanging thunderstones for stones, Brolin believed that even if he could not monopolize the treasures in the castle were not accessible to others. Whoever dares to exchange treasures from this castle, as long as he is not a big shot in other organizations, will have his men snatch them away. "Mine. It's all mine." Brolin sneered. Rorschach had already walked out of the castle at this time. When he walked out of the shadow of the gate, at least tens of thousands of the 200,000 coalition troops surrounding the castle looked in his direction. Rorschach seemed very calm, and slowly walked into the crowd in the spotlight. "It's him." he was the one who entered the castle before His Highness. His Royal Highness said that the other party exchanged treasures in the castle, and we have to keep an eye on it. Catalo and others, who had received Brolin's orders, were secretly eyeing Rorschach. Although Rorschach's perception is sharp, tens of thousands of people are now focusing on him. It is very difficult for him to detect that he is being targeted among these tens of thousands of people. Luo Xia blended into the crowd. After a while, his aura and the appearance of his suit changed somewhat, and then he walked towards Luo Feng and the others, who also wrapped themselves tightly. "Xioxia, how are you?" Luo Feng asked Luo Xia. Luo Xia nodded and said, "It went very well, because the price of the life fruit is relatively high and it has not been redeemed by anyone yet, so I redeemed all three of them directly." After a pause, he continued, "In addition to the life fruit, I also exchanged 2 5th-level weapons and several cost-effective treasures. Next, according to the plan, we will directly find a secret place to let Moyanden evolve." Luo Fen nodded. "When Moyanden evolves to the cosmic level, our lives will be guaranteed. When will we leave?" Rorschach said, "At night. It's too eye-catching during the day. And I think I'm being watched. We have to be more careful when leaving." Brolin returned to his position with a gloomy expression. "Your Highness." Catalo stepped forward to greet Brolin. Brolin looked at him and asked, "You didn't miss that guy, did you?" "When I looked at the redemption list, I found that all 3 life fruits had been redeemed. That guy must have redeemed them." Catalo said respectfully, "No, we have more than 20,000 informants in the entire coalition, and almost the movements of the entire coalition are under our surveillance." Although that person was very vigilant, he changed the appearance of his suit several times along the way. But we kept him on our radar. "Very good," Brolin nodded with satisfaction. "According to regulations, fighting is prohibited in the camp where the coalition forces are located. But they can't stay in the coalition forces all the time. Keep an eye on them. If they leave the camp, take action immediately. The 3 fruits of life are very precious." It's okay if Brolin doesn't know, but now that he knows, it's naturally impossible to let Rorschach go. "Yes, Your Highness." Catalo bowed, "I'll go down and make arrangements right away." "Well, go ahead." Brolin waved his hand coldly. After Catalo retreated, the subordinate who had been waiting on the side stepped forward and offered Brolin a space wristband. "Your Highness, the 6th Brigade killed 6 teams today and obtained 2.59 million thunderstones. The 6th Brigade has done a good job. Tell the other brigades to work hard for me. When I leave this realm, I will benefit from all of you." Brolin took the space wristband and said with a smile. Late at night, the wind howled. In the coalition camp, Rorschach and the others were ready. "Brother, let's go," Rorschach said. "After we go out, we will hold hands. Those guys who are eyeing me may attack after we leave the camp." Luo Fen nodded, with a solemn look on his face. He knew that his brother's perception was very keen. "If you say you are being targeted, you are definitely being targeted. I just don't know which force in the coalition is targeting them." The 5 of them walked out of the camp together. This coalition camp is only difficult to enter, but it is very easy to leave, and there is no one to check. Rorschach and his team walked out of the camp gate directly. Not long after they walked out, more than 1,000 star-level 9th-level adventurers also walked out of the camp. The leader was Catalo, who was ordered by Brolin to rob and kill Rorschach and his team. They followed Rorschach and his team calmly and did not rush to take action. Because this place is still too close to the camp, if Rorschach and his team suddenly return to the camp, they will fail. After all, fighting is prohibited in the camp. Diamond suit. Rorschach, it's just as you expected." In the wristband space, Babata's expression was solemn. "There are more than 1,000 star-level 9th-level adventurers following us." Rorschach frowned and said to Luo Feng and his team, "Brother, it's time for us to run away again." Luo Feng nodded helplessly and grabbed Rorschach's hand. Melissa and the others also held hands with each other. To be honest, if the other party only sent more than 10 people, Luo Xia would not be afraid at all. Now he can easily kill more than 10 ninth level masters of the star level. But when the number of people increases, he can only run. Huh. Luo Xia exhaled lightly, and golden secret patterns began to appear on his body. Get ready, 3, 2, 1. Boom. When the countdown ended, Luo Xia's speed suddenly exploded. In the stunned eyes of Kaito and others, Luo Xia led Luo Feng and others and disappeared from their sight in an instant. Kaito was furious and waved his hand and shouted, "Chase!" However, how could this group of people catch up with Luo Xia? When his speed was fully exploded, it was a few points faster than the speed of the spacecraft, and he escaped thousands of miles away in an instant. Kaito and others could not catch up at all. Waste. A bunch of waste. Brolin was furious in the camp. More than 1,000 of you, can't you kill 5 people? Kneeling on the ground, sweating, Kaito explained, "Your Highness, we didn't expect the other party to be so fast, even faster than the speed of the spacecraft, we can't catch up at all." Brolin looked at Kaito coldly, "They are not even cosmic level, how can they be faster than the spacecraft?" "Your Highness, please look at this time." Kaito projected an image. This is the picture of them running away. In the enlarged picture, Rorschach and his 5 people held hands, and the next moment, in the case of thousands of times slow motion, Rorschach and his people flew out like lightning. The picture was extremely blurry. Brolin looked at Rorschach in the video and frowned deeply. Kaito said, "The other party seems to have the ability to burst speed, and Your Highness, this person also has the domain power related to speed." With his eyes wide open, Kaito swallowed his saliva and continued, "The most important thing is that this person seems to have comprehended the law of the origin of the wind universe. You know, among the 8 laws, the 3 laws of light, lightning, and wind are related to speed. For example, the speed of light is directly the speed of light. People who have comprehended these 3 origin laws have a great advantage in speed. Rorschach, who has comprehended the law of the origin of wind, burst out at a speed that is absolutely terrifying, and it is not something that the star level can catch up with. Not only does he have a domain, but he also has the power of the law." Brolin frowned deeply. Where did such a guy come from? Why haven't I heard of his reputation before? Possessing a domain and comprehending the power of the law at the star level, there are very few people who can do it in the entire universe, and it is absolutely against the sky. Put it in the 2 holy places, it can be cultivated as a son of the saint. If such a person was born in the Black Dragon Mountain star region and was a disciple trained by a big family or a big force, his reputation should have spread long ago. How come I have never heard of such a talented person? Forget it. Brolin shook his head. Now getting the inheritance crystal of the space secret method is the most important thing. Hurry up and tell the other teams to collect all the thunderstones I need. Yes, Your Highness. On the other side, under the leadership of Luo Xia, Luo Feng and his team crossed the plain swamp all the way and came to an area with mountains, forests, and lakes. This place is very far away from the core area. It will take other adventurers 1 or 2 days to reach this area from the core area. Hoo. Luo Xia lay on the ground, his chest rising and falling like a bellows. Although he could burst out with unparalleled speed, the consumption was also very large and he could not last long. If he stopped at this time, his physical strength would be only 1/10 of what it was. Luo Feng and his team also rested themselves on the side. As expected, this time, their hands were broken again. Fortunately, they all have experience. At this time, he was setting his own bones while checking the surroundings. There is no one else within a radius of 20,000 meters in this area. After Babata detected it, he reported to Luo Xia, "You can rest assured. Luo Xia breathed a sigh of relief. He took a breath and gradually recovered his strength. Seeing that he had recovered a lot, Luo Feng said, although there are not many people nearby, the evolution of Mo Yun Teng is expected to be quite loud. We'd better take Mo Yun Teng underground to evolve. Luo Xia nodded, okay. Evolving underground is indeed better than on the ground. At least covertly. Otherwise, if they make too much noise and attract the attention of others, Rorschach and the others will have to run away again. Speaking of which force was chasing us just now? Luo Xia asked Babata. When entering the coalition camp, Babata secretly scanned the entire camp and recorded everyone's information in his database. Judging from the models of battle suits they wear, they should be the subordinates of the 9th Prince of the Black Dragon Mountain Empire. Babata said. Hearing this, Luo Feng frowned and said, after you entered the castle, the 9th Prince also followed you in. Could it be that he guessed that you had exchanged the treasure, so he sent his men to rob and kill us? That should be it. Luo Xia nodded, his eyes narrowed slightly, and a cold light flashed. Brethren, do I remember him? In the following time, Rorschach regained a lot of strength. Then he and Luo Feng began to dig holes and dive deep into the ground. After reaching a depth of nearly 5,000 meters, Luo Xia took out 2 fruits of life and let his own Moyun vine and his elder brother Luo Feng's Moyun vine swallow them. Luo Xia's qualifications for Moyandeng are much inferior to those of his elder brother Luo Feng. But Babata still fed Rorschach a lot of wood crystals after he conquered it. Now this black-purple Moyun vine has grown to the 6th level of stellar level. As for the eldest brother Luo Feng, his Moyandeng qualifications are better, and he is now at the 8th level of stellar level. After Rorschach took out the fruit of life, the entire underground space was immediately filled with rich power of life. The 2 brothers just took a whiff, and the cells in their bodies were boiling. The 2 Moyun vines quickly swallowed the fruit of life. Of the 2 Moyun vines, one is black-purple and the other is blood-red. When they swallowed the fruit of life, the vines began to undergo drastic changes. Like boiling water, green protrusions appeared on the surface of the growing vines. When the green was absorbed, the protrusions disappeared, and many protrusions exploded directly. According to Babata's explanation, the place where the explosion occurred was the excess life force that Moyun Teng could not absorb. Shishi. A large number of vines danced wildly. Underground, the rock layer began to shake. Luo Xia and Luo Feng did not stay underground for long. When they saw the long vines of Moyun vine beginning to break through the rock layer and soil layer, spreading in all directions, they flew back to the ground. Time passed little by little. Babata, how long will Moyandeng's evolution last? Rorschach asked. A stream of data flashed through Babata's eyes and he said, it will probably take more than 3 hours. Rorschach nodded, 3 hours, the fruit of life is indeed a treasure in the universe, allowing a life to complete a huge leap in life in such a short period of time. The power of life contained in the fruit of life is too huge, Babata said, only special plant life like the Moyun vine can withstand this kind of power. If you are allowed to absorb the fruit of life now, you will explode in an instant. Dead body. Time passed little by little. While Luo Xia and the others were waiting for Moyandeng to evolve, many things happened in the coalition camp. Of course, the biggest thing is that some stellar level 9 adventurers have been promoted to the cosmic level. Today, in this world within a world, there are more than 2 million 9th level stars. Under various pressures, many people finally broke through the shackles of life. After entering the universe level, the identities of these adventurers have undergone tremendous changes. Even if that person was just an inconspicuous adventurer in the camp before. After he was promoted to the cosmic level, his status was quickly improved. In this world within a world, the universe level is the strongest. In the mountains, Luo Xia and Luo Feng looked at the screen projected by Baba Tower. In the picture, endless vines run through the earth like long dragons, and the color of these vines has become darker. For example, the color of Rorschach's Moyunvine has turned into pure black, extremely dark, like the purest darkness in the vast universe. And the color of Luo Feng's Moyunvine changed from blood red to deep red. Buzz. Suddenly, Luo Feng and Luo Xia looked stunned. Then the two brothers looked at each other and smiled. Moyunden evolved successfully. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Deep underground, 2 Moyun vines have evolved into 72 long vines. The length of each of these long vines is more than 300 kilometers. At this time, these long vines shrank rapidly, and then climbed quickly along the underground cave. After a while, they came to the ground and merged into Luo Xia and Luo Feng. In an instant, Luo Xia and Luo Feng put on the Moyunteng armor. One of the two brothers is pure black and mysterious, the other is deep red and fierce. Their aura is blessed by Moyunden, which makes people feel frightened. At least at this time, Melissa and the others who were not far away looked at Luo Xia and Luo Feng with surprised expressions on their faces. Luo Xia carefully sensed the breath of Moyundi attached to his body, and asked Babata, "Babata, let me and my brother test the Moyunding to see what level their strength has reached. If you want to test the strength of Moyunden, you must let them leave the body," Babata said, "otherwise, I can only detect your strength." Upon hearing this, Luo Xia and Luo Feng let Moyunteng leave their bodies. Soon after, Babata clicked her tongue. "Not bad." "What kind of strength is it?" Luo Feng asked. Luo Xia's Moyunvine is the first-class cosmic grade, Babata said. Luo Feng's Moyunvine has better qualifications. When it was cultivated, it also ate the fruit prepared by the master for it, so it is now the second-class cosmic grade. Luo Feng heard this and laughed. "Haha, this exchange for the fruit of life is really profitable." Babata laughed and said, "Just profitable? That's a huge profit. With 2 cosmic class Moyun vines, we can completely let go and collect thunderstones." Luo Xia smiled and said, "Next, we find a hidden place, release the spacecraft, and then we can start the hunting plan." "Let's go here." Babata projected a map and pointed to a lake on it. Putting the spacecraft at the bottom of the lake will not attract attention, and it will have little impact on the spacecraft's detector. Luo Xia and Luo Feng glanced at the map and nodded. As an intelligent life, Babata is still very reliable at this time. This lake is not far from them. After flying for a while, they arrived. They entered the bottom of the lake and took the spaceship out of the storage space. As soon as the huge spaceship landed, Babata immediately controlled the spaceship to open the hatch. Rorschach and the other 5 entered in a line. "Babata, start scanning," Luo Feng said. "Why use the spaceship's detector instead of Babata's detection function?" "This is because the spaceship's own detector has a larger detection range, with a diameter of 100,000 kilometers. Of course, the data that a detector with such a large detection range can detect is not as detailed as Babata's detector. The spaceship's detector can only detect some simple data. Although the range of Babata's detector is relatively small, it can detect everything within the range, such as mineral composition, life strength, and combat suit level." Luo Feng, Rorschach, there are 51,240 people within the detection range. Babata quickly said a data. These more than 50,000 people are divided into 5 battalions, each with a scale of more than 10,000 people. As her voice fell, 5 pictures appeared on the screen of the command room. What appeared on the screen were 5 mighty adventurer armies. "Brother, let's split up." Luo Xia looked at the 5 teams on the screen and pointed, "I'll hunt these 2, and you hunt these 3, how about that?" Luo Feng nodded, "No problem." On the vast grassland, a 6-man team was being surrounded by several adventurer teams. The 6 surrounded people swallowed their saliva, looked terrified, and begged for mercy. "We surrender. Don't kill us. We can give you all the thunderstones we find. Let us go." Although there are only a few adventurer teams, there are thousands of people in each of them. This 6-man team can't resist at all. It can only be said that the leaders of those external organizations and forces are too crazy, allowing more than 2 million star-level 9th-level adventurers to enter the world within the world. The idle and free adventurers are no match for these groups of adventurer armies. Looking at the trembling 6 people, the adventurers surrounding them all laughed. "Surrender! Give us the Thunderstone. Don't you know that if we kill you, the Thunderstone will also be ours?" In the 6-man team, a purple-haired man shouted, "Wait, we can join you and find Thunderstones and cosmic crystals for you. We already have enough people." A man stepped out of the crowd and looked at the 6 people jokingly, "So you, still die?" As soon as the voice fell, the surrounding telekinetic weapons rushed out like rain. This adventurer team of only 6 people could not resist at all and died instantly under many telekinetic weapons. After a while, a person who was responsible for cleaning the battlefield came forward, took away all the property of the team, and handed it to a man with flesh wings on his back. The man with flesh wings put all the property he got into the space ring, waved to everyone, and signaled to return. However, just as everyone was leaving, the ground suddenly broke open, and a very thin black vine instantly pierced out of the ground, entangled the strong man with flesh wings, and dragged him underground. The flesh-winged man couldn't react at all. No one else reacted either. Many team members who were very close to the flesh-winged man watched their captain being dragged into the ground. "Not good. Quick! Save the captain!" The team members exclaimed one by one, but a mentalist said solemnly, "The captain's life breath has disappeared." When several team members rushed into the ground and brought the flesh-winged man up, they found that the flesh-winged man's head was gone, and the finger wearing the space ring on the headless body had also disappeared. "Hurry up and notify the captain." A deputy captain looked very solemn and shouted to the team members next to him, "Our captain was killed and the space ring was taken away at the same time." Such scenes were also playing in other places at this time. At the same time, in the restless world within the world, various frictions continued to occur as the Thunderstones were mined. At first, it was just a clash between 1 or 2 teams, with no more than 1,000 people. But as time went on, the number of people in conflict increased dramatically, from 2 or 3,000 to 10 or 20,000. Finally, the war broke out. In the light of the light ball, the 2 sides are fighting in a desert. Looking down from the air, it is like 2 armies of ants colliding with each other. Telekinetic weapons and blood are flying in the air, corpses and yellow sand are mixed together, blood dyes the yellow sand red, and also dyes everyone's eyes red. Kill! Kill! Revenge for the brothers! Seize their thunderstones! Both sides roared and shouted, and collided tragically. Pulling the vision from here and overlooking the entire world, you can find that at this time, the world is full of wars and dead people everywhere. For the treasures left by the Lord of Kavu, the adventurers here have gone crazy. The outbreak of the war just facilitated Luo Xia and Luo Feng's actions. They secretly controlled the Moyun Vine, attacked and killed the captain-level figures wearing space rings and space wristbands in various battlefields, and constantly collected various cosmic crystals and thunderstones. I'm very sorry, I'm late. Sorry.